And we're live. Hello, you insouciant long pigs. It is me, SoundVest1, coming at you for the yet untitled live stream. And I'm being joined by Mr. TFKnowlsy. Say hello.
Hello.
And Mr. Adam White. Say hello, sir.
Good evening.
Oh, look at that. Listen to those dulcet tones already. So, lads, how's it been? How have you been doing?
I've been okay. Just surviving another week. I did finally got a video up on my main on my TFNowlsy channel. Did another Blockers build and review. Got that uploaded earlier on. Been catching up on the Skybound Transformers comic book as well. Because I've got all.
I'm waiting for the next volume. I just don't have space for individual comic books anymore, so I'm just getting the trade.
Yeah,
the last two times is go to the comic shop, go to the pub because there's a pub right next door, pretty much.
Yeah,
and then just have a few beers and read it cover to cover. It's great.
Well, no, I mean, like I say, I've been getting them singular. I kind of, when it was first coming out, when it was like about 5 issues in, I just thought, sod it. They're doing like a subscription thing, so I'm getting them from Forbidden Planet, and it's just pop them through my door when they're ready. Nice. So I'm up to issue 19, which is the current one.
Yeah, no spoilers though. No spoilers.
No, I haven't got to that point yet, so I'm literally catching up on myself.
But those covers are amazing. Post them as well. It's like, even if you've not followed the series, you want to know what's going on because those covers are so exciting.
The artwork in those books is amazing. It's sort of gritty at the same time, but yet colourful. It's amazing.
It really is dark. I mean, obviously, it kind of gives me Transformers Prime energy to a point, but at the same time, Prime was still a little bit more comedic, not as serious. But I get that dire tone that Prime had. You know what I mean?
Nice.
I'd like to know the dark energy and all that kind of thing. When that comes into it, it gets real dire.
They've nailed it. This is what I've wanted out of Transformers comics for a long time. Just, arsehole Decepticons, the Autobots on the back foot. It's just, and then the humans being important but don't appear to be, if that makes sense as well.
Yeah, they don't overbalance
everything I've wanted out of Transformers for a long time, and it's just getting better and better as well. I need to read Void Rivals as well at some stage.
I need to get more of that.
The big thing is as well, you just want it to continue for a decent length of time.
Yeah.
You don't want it to be a flash in the pan. Like 6 months down the line, we don't want this to have finished and ended. We want this to keep going, but to keep that high level. And then when it does reach the point where maybe the writer is going, okay, I'm kind of done with this now. I'm kind of done with this angle, that they move on quickly. They don't drag it out. And so it's nice, it's short, it's effective. Because I think fans are lapping it up. And I know that sales are good. So
that's how Marvel Comics used to do it back in the day.
Yeah.
You'd get a writer that'd be on 6-7 books, and then, like I say, he'd be done with it, he'd be on to another book, and then they'd bring another writer in. But it'd be all seamless almost.
Oh yeah.
That's why the artwork
in the old days.
They'd get the well, they didn't have a house style, but what they did is they'd get the next artist that had come along to draw a bit like the previous artist, and then again the blend would be not so jarring, because I mean, bless them, the UK Marvel stuff in the 80s, I think it's Target 2006. The artwork is radically different from issue to issue.
Just for the record, I will not hear one single hint of a word against Target 2006.
No, me neither.
Oh, thank goodness.
I totally agree. It's one of the
Sorry, rage was building. I was like, Rrr.
No.
Is it just me, or is that the tripod? Is that the tripod in the background from the picture with Sam?
Give it time, Nosy. Give it time.
Yeah.
There'll be a knock on the door soon.
On our major subjects. So, Adam, please take it away.
Okay. Just for the record, can you see my screen?
Not currently.
Right. So let's share this little screen. Dum 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 dum, and then we can go. Bear with me a second. There we go. Boom. Wait a couple of seconds for it to seamlessly flow into the stream.
Yeah, like professional. There we go.
There we go. Right. And I'm
Yes.
just going to minimize some stuff. So, folks, before we start, let's just lay out some things. Firstly, some thanks to these two gentlemen who are going to let me talk about hotels for probably an extravagant length of time, and just give you guys some information about hotels and TF Nation. Also, I just want to say, if you're concerned about any particular issue, maybe planning a visit for somebody else, maybe you have a young family member coming for the first time, or you are supporting or caring for someone and you're unfamiliar with the event and you have a concern, don't listen to this. Reach out to TF Nation directly. Go to the official website. Contact them directly. Go to the official Facebook. Contact them directly. Do it now while you have plenty of time. You can have the discussion with TFN. Don't wait until the last minute. Also, I want to add here, I know some people know me from TF Nation, but I'm not speaking on behalf of TF Nation. I have nothing to do with them in terms of the Birmingham event. I just help out and volunteer at some of the mini-cons. So this is just me offering some advice based off the decade that I spent offering advice at previous events. Funnily enough, most of them were at the Hilton Metropole. So when you think of TF Nation, you may picture the dealer room, the panel room, maybe the Saturday night event room. But for a lot of people, they actually picture an area which isn't technically part of the convention at all. It's actually part of the hotel that the convention is based in. And I am, of course, talking about the Hilton Bar. Now, there's a reason that TF Nation puts time, effort, and expense into ensuring the event is held at the Metropole, which is a convention hotel rather than a regular convention hall. And it's because the Hilton provides those extra social areas outside of the event rooms, be it the bar, the coffee shop, other areas. And because the hotel is technically open 24 hours a day, you're not getting kicked out at 5 o'clock. You make yourself at home. You relax. It's part of the TF Nation atmosphere. And of course, there's other benefits. You can maybe book a hotel room at the Hilton, which is super convenient. And yes, if the Hilton decides it can do it, it might even offer some discounted hotel rooms to attendees of the events that it hosts. And that's what happened a couple of weekends ago when those discounted hotel rooms went on sale. And let's face it, you've got a really popular TF Nation with a great guest lineup. A lot of people are racing to get those rooms. And what happened? Well, they sold out really quickly. And people who failed to get either all the nights they wanted or any night at all are naturally upset, angry, maybe a little frustrated. And we understand that. And I'm not saying TF Nation. I'm talking about us three here today because we've all been there. We've all had the difficulties. All long-standing attendees know about this. But you know what, folks? I'm here to tell you it's not the end of the world. Staying somewhere other than the Hilton will not ruin your TFN experience. If anything, increasing amounts of attendees are proving with their own attitudes to the event and how they manage their time. You have many other options for hotels, both close to the Hilton and further afield. You just need to look at those options now and not wait until the last minute. So, with that intro out of the way, here's the plan. I'm going to run through the general NEC campus layout because that's important. Nearby hotel options, maybe 6 or 7 of them, explain positives and negatives. I can't give exact prices because they change constantly, but I can give you a general situation as of midday 11th of April. So you know the date of recording whenever you see this. Some of the stuff I cover here is aimed at newbies. So you experienced attendees, you know this stuff, but wait around for 2 minutes, you'll still get the hotel facts. On the way, I'll address some of the worries and sentiments I've seen about not getting a room. After I'm done, Tony and John will do the important bit. They'll talk about their experiences with TFN, with the Hilton, with managing their time, with taking breaks, like stuff that's really going to make this relevant to you. This is why it's so important that they're here. So let's start by covering the location where TF Nation is held. And that is the Birmingham Hilton Metropole, which is based on the campus, aka the grounds, of the National Exhibition Centre, which is just called the NEC. Now, don't worry, folks. I appreciate this map looks super basic. It's proper MS Paint. But to discuss traveling around the campus, I've got to cover the basics, stuff that people like these two gents probably now take for granted. You see, the NEC sits in the middle of the campus, the area, with hotels dotted around it. The main international airport is on, the main international train station is on the left-hand side, but that station is linked by a monorail to the international airport. So, as the slide states, if you're coming from the station, be it the station direct or from the airport via the station to the Hilton, you're going to be walking through the NEC. If you're going from TF Nation to any location that isn't around the lake, the south, which is just below on the map, the NEC, you're going to be walking through the NEC. And as the NEC shuts around midnight, taxis are suggested for late travel if you don't like the idea of walking around dark warehouses. And there are many, many other options further out. We'll cover these all at the end, I assure you. And yes, some of you are going to be driving into TF Nation. You'll be parking up at the NEC or the Hilton. But most of you are looking to book a hotel on the campus and walk to TFN. So what I'm going to do, as you can see the screen, I'm going to cover the 3 hotels that you can see listed near the Metropole by the lake. I'm going to cover 2 hotels that are just above the NEC, and then I'm going to cover the 3/4 technically, but 3, but 4, but maybe 3, but sometimes 4 that are near the airport, and I'll explain why the confusion between 3 and 4 is there as well. So, just before I do that, this is a larger map. This is the official NEC map. Sometimes you see older versions of this and newer versions. This is an older version because the Moxie is still being built as they put this up. But the important thing is, I know it's noisy, but most of this is parking spaces. That's all it is. You can still see, look, the hotels around the lake. You can still see the 2 up above. You can still see the ones near the airport. See, it's suddenly a lot easier. Right. Also, as well, there's another hotel here that I've crossed out, the Arden. That is going to be included with all the other hotels briefly at the end. So I guess we better start with a hotel, and we better start with a Hilton. So at the time of recording this, there are no rooms available for the whole weekend anywhere. Not on the Hilton site, not TFN reductions, nowhere. Yes, some rooms become available sporadically as other events change and people drop out. However, everyone is saying this at the moment because it does happen during the year. Rooms do free themselves up. However, this year, you've got 2 really big events going on. You have a faith-based event at the Hilton, and you have a beer festival at the NEC. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, faith, beer, and Transformers. Could you wish for a worse combination of events?
Combination made in heaven.
It's horrific. So the thing is, though, think about those 2 audiences. They're going to be older attendees. They're going to have disposable income. They are the sort that dropped money for a full room at the Hilton straight away. So chances of you getting a room are going to be limited. And the thing is, even if rooms do free themselves up, there'll be competition, demand will be high, and prices will be really steep. My advice, keep an eye out. Grab nights if you can, but don't bet anything or everything on getting a room just at the Hilton. Look at alternatives while you can. Don't wait until the last minute. Now, for those who expect to be stitching together different nights at different hotels. So say you got one night, say you got the Saturday night at the Hilton, and you want to grab somewhere else. Just be aware of your luggage. There is absolutely nothing worse than dragging around heavy suitcases in the hours between one hotel's checkout time and another hotel's check-in time. And do you really want to be doing that on the Saturday morning during the big dealer room queues? At best, it's going to be a huge inconvenience. At worst, it's going to be a safety nightmare. My advice is try and at least get your Friday and Saturday nights at the same hotel so that you can just enjoy Saturday. So anyway, we've talked about other options, but before I do that, I want to point out some things on this page. Look at that Google review, 4.0 out of 5. That's a good thing, right? Well, actually, that's the joint lowest Google review of any hotel on this list, and that's the Hilton Metropole. Yes, the Hilton has a pool, it has a gym, it has a breakfast bar, it has a corporate lounge, depending on your ticket type. It also, hopefully, has the new Hilton mobile app, which will help people with the regular trauma of room keys. However, despite all of those positives, it is expensive even with a TFN discount. The Hilton can and still does take additional room deposits upon check-in, and that, by the way, happens at other Hiltons as well. And the Hilton is a well-used hotel. It gets worn down, worn out. It isn't perfect. These guys will tell you. So therefore, It's not the perfect ideal of a hotel. Also, as well, it can be harder to take a complete break if you're only a floor away from the convention. And if you're worried about the social element, it's actually very easy to end up hiding in your room and not making use of the convention itself. So instead of that, let's look at alternatives, and we will start with the very hotel that these guys are staying at next year or this year, which is the Moxie. Now, the Moxie is 5 minutes from the Hilton. It's crazy close. It's a new hotel, and while the rooms are compact, it has everything you need for a TFN stay, including a decent breakfast and food options in the evening. And I've tried these. It's really good. Availability at the moment is good. The price is a little more. Prices are going up. But look at that Google review, 4.3. It is better. It is new build. There's no need to go through the NEC. It is the perfect balance of a quiet space away from the event, but close enough to not feel removed from the event, if you see what I mean. The negatives, again, there's the expense. There's also, as well, you've got to be aware this is just a hotel. It really is just a hotel. There's no other facilities. The final thing, though, is that security allows only residents in on the Friday and Saturday night. That is to stop NEC attendees from swamping the bar. That makes good sense if you're staying at the Moxie. But imagine 4 of you are staying there and maybe the 5th friend is at the Hilton and you want to have a meal together. If that's the case, you need to make sure that your friend can get into the Moxie to enjoy the meal with you. So maybe just, use a little bit of charm, speak to security, have a word. That's one of the only issues, I think, with the Moxie. Right. What about the hotels? Those little hotels by the lake, the quick stroll away hotels. Well, in addition to the Moxie, you had the Genting and the Crown Plaza. On maps, you will see the words Resort World Birmingham and Genting used as interchanged because one is on top of the other. Now, the Genting Hotel is above Resorts World, where all of you are going to be going at least once a week in the weekend to grab food, grab a decent coffee, or get some fresh air. When it opened a few years back, the rooms were so horrifically, hilariously expensive, so awfully overpriced that they were almost considered a joke, unless you really, really needed to treat your partner or family whilst you were rummaging in the dealer room. Now, prices have dropped. They've actually dropped a lot more than most people realize. It's not even by far the most expensive option on this list. It still might be a little bit at the upper end of what you're willing to spend, but it has a Google review of 4.5, which is fantastic. It's certainly not as expensive as it used to be, despite being marketed as a premium experience. It's a great location for socializing because on the Saturday night, you're probably going to be having a meal literally 2 floors down from your hotel room. The only downsides, it is a busy area, and I've never seen great hotel availability, though at the time of recording, you can still get stuff there. However, if you're looking at this neck of the woods, this part of the campus, then you really need to have a look at the Crown Plaza. The Crown Plaza is just the other side of Resorts World. It's basically just another Hilton, just with different branding, different ownership. It actually has, again, a better rating than the Hilton. Prices are not far off the TFN discount, so it is worth considering. In fact, the only negative is that the lovely walk that you get to the hotel means you have to walk past Resort World, which can be a little bit busy and probably will be, especially on the Saturday. As we move further away from the Hilton, it means crossing the NEC campus. And the easiest way to do this would be, as I've mentioned, going through the NEC building. And that shouldn't be a problem during the day. But as I've mentioned, after certain times, areas like the long walkway that joins the station and the NEC, even the main entrances, they'll be shut. So you need to walk around the building. Or, my advice, just get a taxi. The 2 hotels I'm going to mention to the north and some of the airport hotels are so much cheaper than the Hilton. I mean, literally so much cheaper that the difference on a single night stay would easily cover multiple taxi rides in some cases. And you can order taxis from the Hilton reception. So just consider that for convenience if you're planning to stay out late. However, at this point, I would ask you to maybe check with other people, because although people are giddy with excitement on the Thursday night or the Friday night, and maybe even the Saturday, by Sunday, after you've spent probably about 15 hours in that dealer room, you've been running around, you've been seeing people, you've been social for a very large chunk of the weekend. And then you've had the closing ceremony, you all go out for a big meal. Yeah, by 11 o'clock, even on the Sunday, you're probably not feeling the most eager to stay up late, and a lot of people do crash out early. I'm not saying the bar is a wasteland. No, there's always going to be the social side. But it's rare to see people stay out late every night because they want to make the most of the next morning, which makes sense. So we should probably talk about these two walking hotels, as we'll call them. And the first of them is the Ibis Styles. Ibis Styles, 20 minutes from the Hilton Metropole. That's a good mix of practicality and price. Most of your journey to it, by the way, is just walking through the NEC. Really, really good. It is much, much cheaper than the Hilton. It is a 3-star, but look at the rating, 4.1. Still better than the Metropole. What a surprise. It's also a really short walk to the station. If you're coming into the station, the train station, it's maybe 5-10 minutes at most to the Ibis Styles. So it's great. You just go, get into the train station, drop off your stuff at these Styles, and then go straight to the Hilton Metropole. Even at night, yes, it's a slightly longer walk, but it's actually the most direct of all the walks. You just go to the station and it's one road straight to the Ibis Styles. The only downside is that Google Map and Google Walking Routes are not exactly accurate. It's the sort of thing where if you want to find out about walking to this hotel during the night, maybe do a test run during the day. I don't know, maybe Friday when you're walking over for the first time. It's just an option. I'm going to chuck in as well the Premier Inn here. This is the longest walk of any of the hotels. This is about 30 minutes of any hotel on the list. And a good chunk of that is through car parks. So it's far from glamorous. However, the reason I'm adding this is, and this is my personal opinion, it's the nicest hotel I've stayed at on the campus. It's better than the Metropole. It's better than the Moxie. It's better than the Styles. It has had by far the best food, and it's incredible value for money. Ridiculously good. I think all 3 nights at the Premier Inn when I last checked were still cheaper than a single night at some of the other options on this list. And you know what? You can even upgrade your room to get a coffee maker and other stuff, and it's still vastly cheaper. Yes, I would still advise a taxi taken after dark because it's just convenient. And the only other negative is, well, it's not, you won't find this on booking.com. It's the sort of thing where normally you'll just have to go to the Premier Inn main site, but that's it. It's fine. Right. Finally, the final group are the Birmingham Airport hotels. Now, this means you walk to the train station, and literally right next to the train station, there's a monorail that runs 24 hours a day from the station to the airport, and then it's a quick stroll. The total journey is about 30 minutes. You'll pass all the shops of the NEC. You'll pass the shops in the station. You'll also pass the shops in the airport where you have an M&S Food, Burger King, coffee shops, and a Greggs. I mean, the Greggs alone is obviously the most important thing. But M&S Food has 2 bonuses. One, it's actually the one place where you can get some really nice fresh food. It's also, and people forget, it's probably one of the only places you can buy alcohol on the entire campus. So technically you can still walk to these hotels if you go via the station. However, that's at your own discretion, and the route is not exactly clear on Google Maps. However, let's just quickly look at these hotel airports. Now, I was faffing around earlier going, well, it's 3, maybe 4 hotels, and then maybe it's 3 hotels or 4 hotels. Well, the reason for that is because the first hotels up are 2 Ibis budget hotels, which are in the same building, but one of them is the Ibis budget and one of them is the Ibis Birmingham NEC. Both of them are great value. Both of them hold a slightly higher Google rating than the Hilton still, but of course they're aimed at different markets. Now, there is a price difference between the Ibis budget, the Ibis Birmingham NEC, and that Ibis Styles that I mentioned just now. That means if you're stitching together different nights and you absentmindedly go, oh, I booked an Ibis, I better book another Ibis for the next night, make sure you book the same Ibis. Otherwise, you'll be jumping around technically between the same brand of hotel, but you'll have to check in and check out each day. So just be aware of that. Other options, well, for a start, it's cheaper, so taxi is more than a viable option. You've got all the facilities of the airport and shops. The only downside, apart from the fact it's 2 hotels in one building, is that the monorail can get busy. This isn't a surprise because it's a monorail from a big airport to a big station. And plus, if the NEC is emptying, there could be a lot of other people using the hotels. So just be aware of that. However, the monorail is really good. Even if you turn up at the platform and there's nothing there, you can literally call them. You press a button and it will call the nearest one to you. Not only that, but there's always a little display that tells you how far the next one is away. So you're never feeling lost that, oh, I'm waiting for ages and I don't know when the next one's going to come up. Okay, so we go from the sublime to the ridiculous now, and we have the Novotel. The Novotel is currently, I say currently, it might have changed by the time you see this, but it's currently the most expensive of all the hotels on here. It is marketed as the premium hotel for the executive traveler. And it looks lovely. It looks like a child of the Moxie and the Genting. However, its location is far less convenient than both. And honestly, if you were going to book this, I would rather check if the Genting was free. I mean, it has more going for it. Yes, the Novotel has some facilities, but they're limited. And look, it's marketed at executives. It's not really marketed at convention attendees. So look, it's nice. And if you have to do it, go for it. Finally, we have another Hilton hotel, the Hilton Garden Inn. This has been the bane of more than a few TF Nation attendees when they go, oh, we need to book a room at the Hilton near the airport. And they book this thinking it's the Metropole. It does happen every single year. Now, the hotel has a higher rating than the Metropole. At 4.4, it's really good. And it does have a gym, and it's the closest hotel to the train station, even though I wouldn't advise you walk it. However, this is a perfect example of the challenge that it is for someone like myself to advise on a video the availability and price of hotels. If you can see on this little snap of a map here, you might be able to see that there is a price per night of £91. That was taken day before yesterday, last thing before I went to bed. The current price is around £150, £160. It's gone up £60 to £70 just based on demand. That's the challenge with this. So by the time you see this, it might be the most expensive hotel of all of them. This is why you need to start your hotel search now. This is why you kind of need to jump on. It's not a challenging thing, but you need to get involved. Now, we're in the home straight, gentlemen, so just going through a couple of facts here. So I've been calmly stating, 30-minute journeys. And for some of you, that's going to fill you with horror. But the fact is that a lot of our seasoned attendees will tell you that there's huge benefits to taking a break throughout the day. Many do it. Many head off to the hotel rooms, not just for 10 minutes or 20 minutes, but for an hour or two to relax, to recharge. Often they eat in their rooms, or others will just head over to Resort World. They'll jump on the train. They'll take the 15-minute journey into Birmingham New Street, where all sorts of food is available at the station's own food court. And here's the weird thing. TF Nation used to be so focused on staying in the bar, well, for a couple of reasons. One, when conventions in this country first blew up, which was Auto Assembly 2009, the idea of being in the bar was the huge thing. It was the major thing. All the photos you would see are of people in the bar. But when TF Nation first started, the main reason that people stayed in the bar was there was simply barely no other options for food outside of the Hilton when we started. Birmingham Airport was a building site with maybe a Frankie and Benny's that was open for a couple of hours. Resort World was a literal building site as they were just building it. And yeah, that was about it. Honestly, it wasn't uncommon for lots of folks to just jump on a train, especially on the Sunday night, and go to Birmingham New Street just to get some real food. And even Birmingham New Street was a building site because they were rebuilding the station. They had to head into town. They were taking 3-4 hours just to get some food. So you taking a lunchtime break to grab food at TF Nation this year or drop off your morning purchases, that's nothing. Going back to your hotel to get yourself refreshed, relaxed, showered, ready for Saturday night, that's nothing. You just have to plan when the trips are best. When the schedule comes out, you just have a look. What are the talks you want to hit? What are the signings you want to try and get? Find out, plan your days. And then if you've got some time free, then take the time out to either go back to the hotel or just take time out in general. And in terms of worrying if you're going to miss out on stuff or worrying if you're going to miss out on the social side, well, easiest way is maybe with people that you know offer to start up a temporary TFN WhatsApp group just for the weekend. There is nothing more unnerving than the idea of turning up to the lobby in the Hilton at 6:01 p.m. when you've said to everyone that you're going to meet at 6, and you don't know if at 6:01 you've literally just missed everyone, or you're the only person that's even turned up near time and everyone's going to turn up in another 10 minutes. And this happens constantly to people. So it's just about communication. Okay, people are traveling far further than just to a nearby hotel each day. So yeah, if you just keep good communication, it will be fine. And my final thing, and this is the final page, there are countless other hotels in the Birmingham area that you could use for your TF Nation stay. However you do your research, but do that research. Have a look into it. For instance, distance does not always equal time. There are a couple of nearby hotels, the Holiday Inn, the Travelodge Inn, and the TriStar. They're not technically far away. They'll show up on a Google search as being some of the closest to the event. However, they're based on motorways. So the travel time, well, you have to wait for either the twice an hour shuttle bus. It might even be once an hour now. And all that shuttle bus does is take you to the airport, so you still have to travel all the way. Or you have a 30 to 40-minute walk along a motorway. If it's raining, you are really not going to be feeling the love by the time you get to the metropole. Also, as well, I looked up the Holiday Inn Express and the Arden, which I mentioned earlier. However, Google gave such a mixed response to their travel times that I didn't want to state them here. However, there is an option, and this is the one time that I will mention something other than the official sites. If you're thinking about trying a hotel, be it one that I've recommended, remember, it's just my opinion. It doesn't count for anything. It's up to you. There is an area, like a social media page group, like, for instance, the Facebook People Going to TFN page, where they can help. Just ping on there. I'm thinking about using the Arden. I'm thinking about using the Holiday Inn. Do you have good experiences? I guarantee you, Transformer fans love giving their feedback. They will tell you the good, the bad, the hellish, the heavenly about every hotel. So reach out to them. Let them give you some advice. I'll also note as well that these two gents both have connections to the People Going to TFN Facebook page, and it's run by good people. Okay, these are good people. They've also, as well, people are using that page when they're worried about socializing. So, for instance, maybe I'm staying at the Arden. Maybe I feel that by not staying at the Hilton that I'm missing out on the social side. Well, people are going to be going on those pages and going, I'm staying at the Arden. Is anyone else staying there? Hey, can I walk over with you on the Friday? Or maybe go over with you on the Saturday? Little icebreakers to help kind of ease you in if you've not been to TFN before. It's a great way to do it. Likewise, sharing a taxi on the way back. All the sorts of small things that help ease you into the event if you're new, especially if you feel pressure because you're not at the hotel where everyone else is, even though it really doesn't make a difference. I mean, for instance, we have a lot of people coming just for the day. They're traveling sometimes from across the country. They're not worried about it. Also, we have lots of people going to our minicons now. I say we, sorry, apologies. They're going to the TFN minicons. They're having a whale of a time. And they literally travel, get there, have a blast, leave. They don't have to be staying in a hotel to have a good time. So that's it. My final things are any other comments or questions, put them in the link to this vid, especially if you see it on YouTube after this recording. I will endeavor to jump in and try and respond. And finally, bookmark the TFN official page. Every Birmingham event has had an attendee guide, has maps, has info. The TFN team really strive to put a lot of info together. The thing is with hotels, you kind of have to do some work now. So by the time you get to the event, you can have a great time. And you know the TFN team are working really solidly to make sure you have a good time. And finally, thank you very much, gentlemen. My goodness, I thought this was going to be half an hour. I think it might be a little bit longer than that. But thank you so much for that, guys. I am much appreciated.
Anytime. It's all good information. I mean, we've all been to our first convention. So, you kind of learn by doing, learn by asking, learn by watching videos. I mean, not to toot my own horn or anything. I get people coming up to me at TFN saying, "Oh, I watched your videos. It was good information." And I can see a fish.
Yeah, sorry, I've stopped sharing my screen for the moment. I just thought you wouldn't want to see my my lovely desktop.
There we go. Yeah, so I mean, it's worth asking around, like you say, on the Facebook. People going to TF Nation Facebook page. I'm on the admins on there, so feel free to PM me. Got any questions you like? Same on my Soundversity One page on Facebook as well. Got any questions? Feel free to ask. If I don't know the answer, I will put you in the direction of somebody who will. So.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's all good information there. Yeah.
So I've got some questions for you. Firstly,
Yep.
there's this assumption that being at the Hilton is the only way to truly enjoy TF Nation.
Yeah.
It's kind of a long-standing thing because it's previously been the case that it's been much stronger, but nowadays people are less bothered. I just thought, well, for a start, what are your experiences at the Hilton? And does it really matter if you're sat opposite somebody who's clearly hungover having breakfast? Does that really make all the difference?
No, but it don't. It doesn't. No. The only thing I suggest though is um, just like you said earlier, just plan your journey a touch. Like you said,
Yeah.
if you've bought something big and expensive, get it back to your hotel room as quick as you can and come back. You know, like I said, sharing a taxi. You know, somebody might just go, right, I've had enough for the day. I'm going back. I'll see you at the the club con and stuff like that. So they'll be happy to go share a taxi with you and stuff like that. Just sort of, just
Communication is
plan
big.
ahead.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, the WhatsApp group's a great idea. Facebook messaging group's a great idea as well. Like I said, if you're a bit funny about sharing your phone number to people, Facebook groups, create a Facebook group with a bunch of friends. Like I say, all that sort of stuff's good advice. And again, asking people there. I mean, people you don't know, you might not know yet, but when you get there, go, oh, I'm staying at that hotel. Well, we'll share a taxi and stuff. So it's always worth asking around. And even if asking some of us, I mean, I'm lucky enough to get the Hilton this year again. But I will know somebody who's staying in a different hotel. I'll just go, right, yeah, go with John or go with some Jermaine or somebody else or whoever happens to be about. And so, yeah, they're going, go with them. So I'm quite good in that respect. I'm quite good at pointing people in the right direction.
I'm just going to reshare the screen because I just want to bring up something. So bear with me a second. Dun, 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 dun. Let's just see if I can do that. There we go. Right. So just to let you know, this was added in purely for Knowlsy because I just thought we should all glimpse a young Sam.
He's going to show it.
It's just his young, innocent face. So there we go.
Bloody hell.
It hasn't come up. I don't know why.
Yeah, I think that was a good thing.
You have to share it again. I can't see
it. Bear with me 2 seconds, guys. Yeah. There we go. Dun, 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 dun. That was my fault. I was so worried. I didn't want to completely spam my screen with you guys, and then of course I end up taking it away too quickly. So that's my fault. There we go. And share.
There we go.
There he is. There he is in the corner.
Oh, bleh.
Yeah, there he is. Team Edward, as we call him. I'm not going to explain that now. Come and find me at TF Nation and I'll explain it fully.
We also, as well, we have the legend, which is Spellos.
Oh, the man, the ledge.
We also have Livia Ramondelli stroking the face of Andrew Griffith.
Yes. Yes, I remember that.
And that is your esteemed boss of TF Nation.
Yeah, I can see you taking your frustration out on him because you really takes the frustration out of Billy. Now, Billy, I've known Billy a long time, and he might have a face like thunder when he's walking around. He's always got a face like he's going to murder somebody, but he's a lovely dude. If you really have a problem, he's the guy to speak to. You can't miss him. He's walking around with his Billy stripes, as we call them. Plus, like I say, he'll bend over backwards to help you out. And if he can't, he will put in somebody who can. So,
yeah. Guys, you'll know this from last year. How busy was the Hilton Bar late on in the evenings last year?
No, right, okay. So the Friday night was busy. Saturday night round about 11 o'clock, just went really quiet.
Yep.
And it's sort of like it was all of us sort of, shall we say, veterans, shall we say,
Yep.
who were in the bar till late. But it just seemed like, what, is this it now? Everybody's gone to bed. It just seemed a bit kind of, but Friday night was busy till, I think, about 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
But then there was a lot of the dancers in there as well, because they had the Brazilian dancers in last year. And, but yeah, they went to bed Friday night early so they can all dance, and dancing hungover is not exactly the thing of choice, is it? But no, it was.
I mean, I appreciate a lot of people as well. A lot of people want to make sure that they are fit and ready for the Sunday morning because, of course, if you paid for a TF Nation ticket on the Sunday, you want to make the most of Sunday. You don't want to be having issues. So, yeah, it's interesting that the social side of things is, I'd say, Thursday night, Friday night, definitely. Saturday, it is a little bit quieter.
I mean, it's when ClubCon's on, though, it's busy. There's a lot of people around when ClubCon's on. I mean, we sort of float between the bar and the event as well. Because some people might just want to watch the first part, or might just want to watch the last part, so they'll pick and choose. But yeah, so it's just a case of there'll be always somebody around. The bar's never going to go, that's it, done. There's no one there anymore. So if you just want to hang out and just have a few drinks, pull up a pew, as we say, feel free to join.
I will just add one thing, is the whole queue situation needs to kind of be mentioned, because if there's anybody, when it comes to the bar, because if you're somebody, say, that fans has a bit, has an issue with like a lot of people in one space kind of thing, if you're somebody like that, then I would kind of maybe consider maybe kind of going somewhere maybe quieter within the bar, or get a friend to get a drink for you on your behalf. Because I will say is there's never really enough people on the bar staff, and they only seem to have one side of the bar ever in operation, even though it's a two-sided bar. So what I've never really understood is that it's like a single file queue, and it literally, at one point, a couple of times last year, and I think the year before, it literally queued on the Saturday after the ClubCon thing, and then you got all the other events sifting into the same queue as well, and it was just one big queue going right down the passage as if you're going back to the dealer room and stuff, and it took forever to get served. And
that's more of the hotel thing. I mean, I think
it's a hotel.
But again, it's kind of one of those things. It's like we British tend to naturally queue, so we see somebody stood waiting at the bar, we join the queue.
I do understand that, but I'm just trying to say that it can be a problem. Just trying to highlight it, because I still understand why they don't utilise both sides of the bar, or at least put extra staff on. That is kind of like piggybacking back to a question before that Adam said about my thoughts on the Hilton. And when it comes to the Hilton, I think even though it's an okay hotel, me and you, Tony, have had certain issues with it.
I'm not going to go into the biggest issue of that, because it's kind of but like I said, John, there are some issues I've had in the past which haven't been great, but overall though, that's not TF Nation's problem. If you know what I mean. No. Issue. Yeah.
No, I completely agree with what you're saying. I'm not blaming it or putting the blame on the event itself. It is the hotel. It's a management problem or something.
Well, this is something, actually. This is one of the biggest things that I wanted to get from you two guys, because the thing is this is not, as well, for people watching, this is not me going, Adam wants to bash the Hilton. No. I love the Hilton. I think it's great, and the staff have done incredible stuff behind the scenes to help the event in ways that attendees will probably never know about. But it's not perfect, and the thing is as well, it is used constantly by masses and masses of events and stuff. And so it's a constant churn. And so and also things like the bar staff, I think the bar is run as its own entity, even separate to the hotel. And the thing is, of course, that it's not the bar person going, oh, well, I'm going to tell my friend Bob not to come in today so that I can do all the work on my own. Yeah. No, it's management that you're never going to see, that probably don't even work at the Hilton, that go, oh, well, there's only 2,000 people in there. One guy can cover all of those. It's the sort of stuff that it's unfair. But it's nice because it just, again, we're not trashing the Hilton. We're just saying, hey, it's not perfect, as you would expect. And that's nice because it means that people then don't feel so bad when they're not there.
Yeah.
It's all those little things like, Knowlsy, you're at the Moxie, aren't you?
Yeah, this year, yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, you're going to notice, I mean, there's very little things that, in terms of issues with the Moxie, that you're going to be saddled by. I mean, you're going to have a few less facilities. It's going to be quiet. You'll have lovely aircon that really works. It's so good.
Yeah,
it's so cold in those rooms. The only like, for instance, weird little quirks, and this is something that maybe the Facebook page would tell you about, is because you're so close to the Hilton, you honestly, I've seen more than a few people, not just myself, think, oh, I'll just go back to the hotel room and get a pint, and then I'll walk across to the Hilton, and no one will know. No, you can't do that.
No,
you can't. The security on the door, just on the Moxie, will stop you dead.
Yeah,
but I tried to do it 3 times.
Well, I was going to say about that. There are, if I'm not going to mention it. Well, I am, but I'm not. If you know what I mean. There are alternatives, but that's all I'm going to say. Regarding if you want to have a drink, there are alternatives.
Well,
PM me and I'll explain.
Well, that's the thing as well with these other hotels as well. Let's face it, if you're spending less money on the hotel, then you can, if you want to grab some extra food for the room or some drink for the room or whatever you do, you can do that because you have that option. Same with the taxi service, same with everything else. That's why, yes, the Genting and the Novotel, yes, it's great to stay in luxury. However, if you're struggling to then buy anything else because you spent all the money on the hotel, well, that's not going to work out as a good weekend for you.
No.
If you've got a family to consider, okay, that's completely different. That's kind of out of your hands. Budgeting is a whole different world with families. But if you're going on your own, just be practical about this stuff. And yes, if you can walk 20 minutes and it's saving you some money, that's fine. Again, if there's I mentioned at the beginning, if there's an access issue, if there's anything involving you physically, like, I can't, if it's not the Hilton, I'm not going to be able to do this because I can't physically, I need assistance walking or whatever. That's the sort of situation where you speak to TF Nation. You don't comment on this video. You literally go to them privately and have that dialogue with them. And at least they can give you options of what they can do. Do that now rather than 2 days before the event.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, but like I say, I mean, but the walking to different hotels though can be just that break that you need, because it can get loud, it can get busy, it can get sweaty, it can get very, very warm in that dealer's room.
Yes.
But if you've bought something expensive and just want to just get it back to your room so you don't lose anything or anything like that, the walk can be just exactly what I need.
Yes.
Get back,
yes.
Chill out.
Yes.
Because I've often done that. Gone to the NEC, the subway. There's a subway up at NEC, and I've decided just go out for a walk, bit of fresh air, come back, and that's sometimes all you need is just that. Get out of the situation for a bit.
You do need. Everybody needs a level of, because it can. Even though I love TF Nation, I love going to TF Nation, I love interacting with everybody, but it can get a bit too much.
Oh yeah.
At once.
It's like me can get too much.
It's literally just boom, 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 until you go to bed, and then it's boom, boom, boom again the next day. It's just constant, and sometimes you need to take yourself out of the equation. Either, like as Adam said earlier on, like, just go to your room for half an hour, or go and have a quick power nap or something. Or going to Birmingham City Centre on the train, things of that nature, or go for a little, because it's a nice little area, that the campus area where the pond and everything, it is picturesque, it's really nice. So if it's good weather, he could go for a little bit of a walkabout, and it does do his some wonders, especially if he's somebody that suffers with mental health issues, things of that nature. If it does get a little bit too much, and you just have to just get away from it all, do not be discouraged from just, no one's going to say anything about anything negative about it.
Well, absolutely.
If you need to take time for yourself, do it. Because you've got to put yourself first as well when it comes to certain things.
Let's face it. Some of I'm not going to mention any names, but some of the most, let's just say, visible people, I think, in the Transformers community are probably the first ones to go, yeah, I take a couple of hours out. I get exhausted by all the people around. I get exhausted by people noticing me. I get exhausted by the dealer room. And the fact as well, both of you guys said, I think Nolzy, you said, well, both of you have actually said the pivotal thing, which is sometimes a walk is just good for being a walk. So yes, I know these walks to the hotels are longer than you just going up to your room, but sometimes just going up to the room doesn't actually disconnect you from the event. No. Sometimes you need a bit of a break. So I'll be fascinated after this year, Nolzy, to see what you think about the Moxie, because it's there, but it's not there. It's just, it's almost the sweet spot. I kind of wish they'd build another hotel on the Moxie and we'd have two there, but.
Yeah, because a few years ago, that used to be a car park, didn't it?
That used to be a car park. Do you know the really scary thing is that the main Birmingham interchange is going to be is taking shape to the, as you look at the map, the east of the NEC, and that is going to include at least probably another hotel, or at least more shops, or at least more stuff, and so there'll be more things for people to go and do, and that more people will be taking that time out on the Friday evening, the Saturday evening, absolutely the Sunday evening, to go and enjoy themselves, which means it's not a bad thing for the convention. It just means that people get to socialize more and go out and have a meal. Sorry, Noz, you were going to say something.
Oh no! Sorry, I just remembered something that I saw. Don't quote me on this. I would check out the NEC website and make sure this is actually in force. But I saw a post about it's something that they're rolling out very, very slowly, and it's kind of like a test run at the NEC side. But they're looking at within Birmingham, probably sifting it out further afield. Basically, they've released self-driving shuttle buses.
I saw a thing about that,
Yeah, so there's apparently self-driving shuttle buses that literally save and go around the whole circuit of the NEC complex. So basically, that will drastically help you when it comes to getting to your hotels.
John, find a link for it if you don't mind.
You don't
have to do it now.
I will find a link to that. Yeah.
Right. I can foresee two things happening. One, if it happens, it'll be an absolute godsend. Two, somebody from TF Nation is going to try and hotwire one of the cars and use it as a cosplay. I just guarantee it. They're literally going to rock up. They're going to put a red bumper on it and go, "I am Optimus Prime."
Yeah, we go to the club con on the Saturday, and you go to the club con on the Saturday, and you just see this bloody shuttle bus coming on the stage.
Yeah. Well, they've got robot vacuum cleaners that go up and down the corridors in the Hilton.
Yeah.
Yeah, because somebody said it to me the year before last when they first rolled them out, and I'm like, no, because I never saw them the whole weekend. I said, what are you talking about? And then last year I saw two, and they sort of got them, them real cartoony eyes and look at you and they go, and I went, right, okay, but you could have made that into, at least an astromech droid. Come on. But no, but yeah, I mean, for all those that are still sort of on the fence about all this, they're watching. There is a lot of people that will help. We're not kind of there's no snobbery around. There's no my collection's bigger than your collection kind of people about. There's none of that. There's genuine people who like the same thing you do, who will happily sit and talk to you for hours and hours and hours about. Not just Transformers, but Star Wars and Doctor Who and Power Rangers and video games and Star Trek or whatever else. And then, they will have their own advice as well. Yeah. So it's not just what we say. Other people's experiences are different, and they will go, well, this didn't work for me, but this thing did. You know, so it's always worth just, you know, having, like I said, just in the back. The best icebreaker, I keep saying this in my videos every year, is, oh, that's a cool robot. I've got that. Or where did you get that from? You're already talking to somebody straight away. You know?
I think as well, the rise of these Facebook groups, you can see a lot of people taking the initiative and going, look, I'm going this year, but I'm a little bit nervous. And people are doing this they were doing it 6 months out from TFNation. They're posting it there
Yeah.
because they just want to take that first step in the safest environment, which is they're just posting on a social media group and they don't have to do anything. They're just sat by the keyboard. Nearer to the event, you're going to see a lot more people doing that. And let's face it, guys, I hate to say it, but because of your visibility, I know you've had it in recent years, and I think it's increasing. People are going to come up to you and just go, hello, because they just want to say hello to somebody that they recognize from the interwebs.
I'm quite a gracious person. I'll say hello to anybody who comes up and says hello, you know.
By the way, this will be the point where you get your orders in. So Soundwave is having a Stella, and Knowlsy is having a cider, probably a Copperborough, maybe a dark fruits Strongbow.
And autographs £1.50 as well, if you don't mind. Yeah. So, no, what I mean is, though, is and please don't take this any other way than what it is sometimes I've had people come up to me and I've been called somewhere and I've been doing something and I've been just, you know it is. That's not me being rude. It's just me being, I want to get to this panel or this, that, and the other. And I've tried to find the person afterwards to say, look, I was real sorry. I was a bit of a rush. I've just got this, that, and the other thing to do. Because it happens to us all. We all like that. We're all called there and done this and, you know, whatever else we're doing. And so please don't take offence if I've just gone, look, I can't really talk right now. I'm busy. I'm this, that, and the other. It's literally just that. I am busy doing something. You just caught me just at the wrong moment. But no, like I said,
the thing is, I'd like to piggyback on what you just said there, Tony. I completely agree with what you're saying, is that because it's just constantly full on the whole weekend, and it's impossible to have a long interaction with everybody.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
So I mean, I try my hardest to talk to as many people as possible for as long as I possibly can. But half the time, majority of the people, it is literally just a brief hello, and then I don't see them again. Or it's too late, they've gone, you know. It's usually with George and all them lot, you know, they're only there for like 5 minutes and they're gone again.
Yeah, they're looking for the day now, those lads.
Yeah.
Just pop up, you know, on the Saturday and stay a few hours and then they've gone, you know.
That's why I'm sorry. I know we're breaking topic here, but that's why, as we record this, tomorrow I will be in Nottingham with George, because I've missed that sod for like the last 3 or 4 TFNations. So I've never seen him. So I'm actually going somewhere where I know he will be tomorrow.
Yeah, I think he's trained ninja nowadays. I say he pops in and then you know he's around but nobody sees him and then he's gone again, you know.
I literally saw him once last year. I saw him once and he was talking to somebody and he said, "Hiya, Knowlsy," and then I thought, right, I'll just nip down that corridor. I came back, never saw him again.
Yeah, it's the fatal mistake.
Yeah. You know, so, but yeah, I mean, but the general consensus still is have fun, have a laugh, buy your Transformers, sit in the bar and have a few beers with people, you know, or coffees or whatever it is you drink. You know, we're not saying that you have to drink beers or spirits or anything like that. There's a coffee shop right near the bar, a Costa. So if you want to go get coffee, there's coffee there. They do soft drinks as well, you know. So it's not about how much you can drink. I mean, some of us it is, but no. But if you're not a drinker, that's fine. Come on, join. We're not going to go, oh, you can't stick with us. You know, none of this. We wear pink on Wednesdays business. You know what I mean? You know.
I mean, I'm on malt drinks, so people seeing me swigging for a bottle might think, oh, he's having a beer. No, I barely drink.
Yeah.
But I would say as well, one of the things with Resort World as well is that they have a Costa, I think, there. And like the prices are almost half the price of the Hiltons.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that people realized a couple of years ago, oh, wow, there's an alternative. And it gives us a chance to stretch our legs on a Sunday morning. Suddenly you're seeing lots of people just going over there, just enjoying a bit of a walk, just taking it easy. Also as well, to people listening who are coming for the day, well, great. You know, I mean, that's the lifeblood of TFN is really people coming for the day, enjoying it, and then they come for the weekend. But if they're coming for the day, they're traveling. They're probably putting a couple of hours in to get to TFN, and yet they're still having a great time. And they don't have to be in the Hilton. They don't care. They're just having a good time. Also, was it? I know I referenced, I don't know even if you caught the reference, Knowlsy, to your trousers in that presentation.
Yes, I might have done, yes.
Right, okay. Good to know. Good to know. You see, because I had to minimize everything, I haven't seen your expressions during my talk. So I don't know what you reacted to and what you didn't.
I was just trying to keep very, 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 very quiet, and it's very difficult for me. So I was just trying to...
But the thing is, as well, I think either you or somebody else has mentioned, and you hear people saying this before as well. On the Sunday, I was really tired, and I just didn't go down for breakfast because I was just so tired, and I just wasn't having that. You think about that. For a lot of people, this interpretation of you've got to have the full TFN experience. Well, a lot of people put that on the the Hilton breakfast. If you don't go for the Hilton breakfast, you're not having the full TFN experience. And yet a lot of people, by the end of the weekend, they're like, nah, sod the Sunday breakfast, just give me a coffee. And it's like, it doesn't matter. And also when you go down there, especially on Friday, if you don't know people, everyone is sat on their individual tables. It's like school. And if there is a guest, you don't want to sit with them. You're like, oh my God, James Roberts is over there. I better not interrupt him whilst he has his scrambled eggs. It's just, it is what it is. Oh, I didn't mention as well. Sorry. Again, there was so much stuff I took out of that presentation. But here's another thing: if you're staying at say I don't know, say the Ibis budget, you're saving a big chunk of money at the moment. Between the Ibis and the Genting, between the Premier Inn and the Genting, is about £100 difference.
Wow.
£100, right. Now you imagine, so yes, a taxi, yes, that £100 will cover a taxi, right? That's fine. How about this though? You can still buy a Hilton breakfast. You have to buy it individually. It will cost you like 20. I mean, it's not cheap. It's like 20 quid or something. It's. I mean, I don't think it's personally worth it. But if you're saving 100 quid a night going to a cheaper hotel, you can just walk up to the Hilton and get a breakfast like everyone else, and nobody will know that you just paid for it as a customer.
That's it, yeah.
Boom.
I mean, but there also as well, there's a spoons, and just right in the as you go into the hotel as the NEC, there's a Witherspoons right there. So if you want breakfast there,
brilliant.
Yeah,
you know what?
But that's only open certain times of the year, though. It's only open if there's an event on in that side of the NEC.
Sometimes it's just
I'm just sorry, I'm talking over you. No, I was just saying the times I've gone through the NEC and that whole front end is just closed off. Because there's an upstairs tier as well to the NEC, as well as a ground floor tier. So last year there was an event upstairs, but yet everything downstairs was practically closed.
Yeah. But there are options, is what we're trying to say.
Yes, there is options, but I'm just saying that you've got to keep that in mind. The NEC's what's available in the NEC isn't always open, except for what's more near the train. Yeah. If you go more near the train station and the airport, then yes, it's available. But when it comes to the actual convention centre side, it can vary.
It can, yeah. I mean, like I said, but because there's the FaithCon that's on, is it the Mormon thing? They are actually in the NEC though, aren't they?
FaithCon is in the Hilton, and the beer festival is in the NEC.
Oh well, the beer festival.
Knowlsy, look at me right now. No.
No. I'm not saying anything.
I'm sorry, I'm doing disapproving father now. No.
Yeah, no.
Here's the deal.
You need to do it like when you've got a cat that will keep scratching the thing, get a squeezy bottle and go, no.
The beer festival is in the NEC on the Friday and the Saturday. So that means that there is a very, very good chance that Wetherspoons will be open Saturday morning, and it will be busy.
Yeah, probably.
Let's face it. If you know it's open, that wouldn't be a bad little meetup for, say, a subgroup to do. Let's all meet
Exactly,
in the
well,
spoon Saturday
especially
morning.
Friday, because a lot of people will be turning up Friday. So they've got to walk past there as well. So you could sit there and wait for your friends and meet people as they're coming down, especially if they don't know anything. Like, say, you put it on the people going to Facebook group on the people going to TFNation on Facebook, and you can say, right, we're going to be in the spoons there. It's right near where you need to be. Come and find us, and we'll take you to the hotel. So yeah, and that's an option. So
Oh my goodness, I am so sorry. You see, I've said this before as well to other people. I'm always amazed when people are on like streaming on Twitch that they don't check the comments,
yeah,
and I not check the comments. So I'm just going through the comments. If there's anything that I don't know if there are any questions.
no, I think they're just people saying hello. I mean, I can
You can
right,
bring them in. So
yeah.
No, I'll just have just a quick through. Hang on, is that Bill Letson? Oh,
yeah, it is
lovely.
as well.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's fantastic. Raymond's there, Damien's there, Sammy's there. Hello, gents.
Mm,
Silverman's there. Hello, Trouble. Oh, bless them. Oh, that's lovely to see.
yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
How are you doing, everybody? Good to see you.
Oh, please check your chosen premier. Yes. I mean, I would say as well, wherever you're staying, do that extra research.
Mm,
It doesn't matter what I say here. I could say something is brilliant, but I might have been lucky. I might have had like the one day that the chef was feeling good. And the staff, like you guys have said as well, sometimes if there's a member of staff on the bar who really does not want to be there, they will let you and everybody else know it. So, just double check, make sure facilities there. Also, as well, don't be fooled. A couple of the hotels on that list, they advertise that they have gyms. I've looked at the gyms. I rent a very, very small apartment in London, which is about as small as you would expect because it's London and I'm not a millionaire. Even my smallest room is bigger than their gym, and yet they call it a gym. The Hilton, here's a fun fact. The Hilton Manchester I stayed in during the Minicon. It was a treat to myself. The gym there is the smallest gym I have ever seen. You couldn't fit more than 3 people in it. It has lots of stuff, but it's just useless. It's so small. So if a hotel advertises it has all this, all that, all this, well, think about it. You're going to a Transformer convention for Transformers. You're going for the hall. You're going for the Hilton bar. You're going for the experience. Do you really need a gym? Do you really need a swimming pool? Probably not. So again, that's why there's nothing wrong with getting the cheaper option, especially if it means that you can sit in the bar with everyone else.
Yeah, the biophiliac, sorry. I'm looking forward to staying in the Moxie this year. So yeah, I mean, you have to stay in the Moxie, aren't you, John? So,
Yeah. After the issues we had with the Hilton last year, I was looking at options nearby, other options, and obviously the Moxie is practically like we've already said, it's like 5 minutes away. It's not a problem. So Sam managed to find it, booked it relatively early on, and I've actually saved a bit less than what the Hilton was charging. So it's not bad.
It's perfectly fine, by the way, for you to hang out in the Hilton bar. The whole idea, I mean, this is the weird thing about the convention is the Hilton bar is not part of the convention, but because it's where TF Nation is being hosted, they will be open for as long as most people will still need the bar to be open.
Yeah.
And if you go back a couple of years, like I was almost tempted to put up some of the survivor picks, but trust me, there were still 100 or so people a couple of years back, 100 or so people in the bar at 2 or 3 a.m. on a Monday morning.
Yep.
So yeah, trust me, you can stay there. The only problem you have is that closing NEC situation, which used to be a big deal because not to be offensive to anyone here, but it used to be that if it was different and it wasn't super safe and spelled out for everyone, that some attendees would just really complain. Whereas now, especially since lockdown and the change in like the TFN audience, I think people are just like so much cooler and just blasé with everything. It's like, oh, we need to walk an extra 10 minutes. Okay, whatever. Nobody cares,
Yeah.
which is great. So you haven't got the drama of like past years. Like people used to go ballistic because, like in the Holiday Inn in the Birmingham town centre, you had to walk like more than 5-10 minutes to find food, and people are like, "Oh, I hate it. Oh, it's awful." And it's like, come on, it's 5-10 minutes. You're in
I know,
Birmingham.
it's ridiculous. It never bothered me. It's like things like that have never bothered me. It's like it's only a couple of minutes walk. Is that going to hurt? You know.
It has changed though. I think it really has, and especially like, and again, I know this is sounding old, but it's like young and first time attendees are just so chill with everything. They're more organized. They come with almost everything planned. It's just they're clued up. They know exactly what they want to do, and also they have no issue with, right, we're done here. Let's go out into town. We're here. We've done here. We've got pizza booked. We've done here. Let's go there. So they don't have to be handheld. This is actually kind of it's more for the group of people that do remember when it was all about just being at the Hilton. So
I will just say is that I think anybody coming for the first time now, say like this year, for instance, 2025 or whenever, over the past couple of years, I would say it's actually better now because you've got more resources, you've got more on your doorstep, so to speak. You know, you've got like the Resort World, you got all that, you got all these amenities nearby. But I do remember when we first moved from New Street Hotel, and then we went to this one. At first, I thought, "Oh, it's the NEC. Great! You got all the stuff inside the NEC."
And there was nothing.
Everything was shut. And everything was shut, and there was literally no Resort World back then. It was literally just, and there was no Moxie, there was none of that, and there was no pond fountain area either.
Nope.
I think that was new recently. It was just very, very nothing to do. So everybody just like seemed to sift out of the bar nearly every evening and go into the city centre on the train, and then come back about 10 or 11 o'clock at night and carry on in the bar at the Hilton. Back when we first went to that hotel for the first time, it was a little bit jarring. I will hold my hands up and be honest. I was a little bit annoyed because I was like, I loved the Holiday Inn, the Holiday Inn in New Street. I loved it because of the veranda and everything. I understand why they moved, because of space and safety, health and safety.
Lordy,
And all that, and also there was an issue with the bar, wasn't there? I think was they kind of like shut the bar early and things like that.
Well, there was a certain bunch of people that were I'm not going to mention names, but there was a certain bunch of people that were taking the piss, shall we say, and going under the tables, which they took offence to, which you shouldn't do. Okay, like I said earlier, there are options, but just if you there's nothing stopping you having a few beers in your room.
Yeah,
you know, because that's while you're there, it's your room. You can drink and do whatever you want upstairs, but don't open a can in the bar.
Don't flaunt it.
You know,
exactly. Yeah, that's just being stupid doing that.
Yeah,
I mean,
it is. Like I said, there are options. If you want to go and have a drink upstairs, go and have a drink upstairs. It's probably the better option, quite honestly, than it is waiting in the queue at that bar, because that queue can get very long.
Like I said earlier, I can say this as of last year. It literally stretched with our event and also the dancers. It literally stretched right to the other entrance at the far end where where the dealer room was. It literally stretched from the hotel bar, the Hilton, right down that. Long. That was long, and I've got Yorkshire in me, and when I saw that, I was like, F that, and exit stage left.
It is what it is. I think this year as well, and it's just a little bit of preparation, but you're going to have this is something that I'll have to admit, as we're recording, I've not mentioned this to anyone else, but it's something I'm slightly worried about, and that is if the Hilton is going to have a lot of people that have gone to the beer event, they're going to be older people. They are. Although it's weird, we had the faith people, and then we're going to have the people from the beer event. The faith people, although Knowlsy will try and do something, please don't. They will be generally very, very good, My only concern is that some people who maybe at the beer event won't understand the idea of suddenly all these people are putting toys on tables.
Yeah.
And the worry I have is that one of them will pick something up and drop it and damage it. And suddenly you have, and let's face it, like nobody at TFN is going to cause a problem, but the fact is they're not going to say anything and they're going to feel hurt and it's going to hurt their experience. So, I mean, I'm hoping that it's all good, but.
Well, me too. I mean, one thing I will say, if the bar starts to fill up with these, that have had a few drinks at the beer festival and maybe a little bit too, what's that we say, inebriated, that is
Yes.
a good word, take your purchases up to your room or go, and that might be a good time to go, right, let's go for food, let's get, everything out.
Absolutely.
So to minimise it the best. I mean, we've seen people, there's toys throughout the bar. Everywhere you look, there's piles and piles and piles. Big ones, small ones, it all works. But just as an FYI, just if it starts filling up with these types, just go, right, you know what, let's take this up to the room. Just go for a break, go for a shower or something like that, and come back,
Yep.
Because like Adam just said about people might people don't know, you bunch of adults playing with toys and smashing them around and stuff. Like I said, the FaithCon probably will give us a wide berth in the bar. You probably won't see them in there. I mean, I could be wrong. They could be just having their own coffee. They're probably going to stick to themselves. But the other side of the coin, though, about that is again, people have had a few drinks, may interact somebody who's on the spectrum, doesn't know how to talk to somebody like that, and may cause an issue. And again, vice versa, the reverse is true. Somebody, on the spectrum might not know how to speak to a drunken person. If you see something like that, just get them out of the way and just, try and diffuse it as best you can.
I would say, just to add on to that, if it's someone, say, with Asperger's, for instance, that can't read a situation like somebody else can, and approach somebody, just saying hello, for instance, something as simple as saying hello or just looking in someone's direction can cause someone to go nuts if they've had too much drink or whatever, or even if they're on something else. You don't know. I think this year it's just an essence of keep a bit more mindful, be a bit more aware of your surroundings, about your belongings, stick with a group if you can. Try not to solo it if you can help it, just to minimise any risks.
Well,
that's all I could say on that matter.
I don't see any problems generally.
No.
Just try and minimise it as best you can. So try and
yeah. I mean, I know exactly what you're saying. I'm not saying there will be a problem. Just saying if trying to minimise any risks, any issues, but I'm just saying to just be a bit more mindful. That's all. Everyone might be absolutely fine.
Yeah.
For all we know, but you need to have that emphasis of have a thoughtfulness of the situation, because there's going to be
one person that causes a problem. Just one thing, and then paints the rest of them with that brush, and you don't want that.
Exactly, yeah. And then that's going to be negative for the hotel.
I'm gonna have to jump in because I need to give some context to this as well. Because
no worries.
Although we're focusing on it, well, firstly, bye, Bill. Hi, Sam. Get that out of the way. So good to see you. I am noticing the comments now, which is good. But
I was going to go through at the end. But
I just want to respond to CocoWild01, who mentioned they're worried about TFN this year and might skip at the hotel stuff at the beer festival. Right. Some context. So there have been events at the Hilton every year that TFNation has been there. There have been faith-based ones. There has been family planning. You remember the fun and games we had with family planning and the armed police? Yeah. Okay. There have been medical things going on. Weddings. There have been all sorts of stuff. There's always some contingent. If you want, in terms of combative and overt personalities, I would still say that the dancers were probably some of the most in-your-face people that and there were known issues with the hotel. But the important thing is, I don't think there will be a problem this year, and we're not. I think what we naturally do, and this is all three of us, because we've been there a couple of years. You naturally think you just want to make sure that there's the least amount of issues. Sammy absolutely sums it up perfectly there. Just just give a little bit of space. Don't if there's some louder people, you're not gonna like crash down into the middle of them with a Fort Max and go, "Hey guys, look at my piece of plastic." You gotta be careful. The thing is as well, I don't even know how to take it with the beer festival, because for a lot of people, they'll come out the festival. Remember, I think it shuts at like 5. I think it's something like that. It's also as well. I mean, it's the Great British. Oh gosh. Okay, Friday the 8th it finishes at 10:30. Saturday it finishes at 7. Okay, so the thing is that people they'll be in a good mood, but they're not coming over early. If anything, you're going to get a lot of older people, because it's a beer fest. You'll get a lot of camera members, CM, like the campaign for Real British Ale.
Yeah.
So if anything, you're going to have the male version of QuiltCon.
Yeah.
Whereas QuiltCon was just a bunch of old ladies going, "Oh my God, Marge, have you seen those robots? Oh my God, they're so cool. Can we come in and have a look? Oh my God, they're really good.
Lovely. They were
My
absolutely
son
lovely.
loves those robots. Can I take a picture of you? Thank you." They'll do that.
My grandson loves all these. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, and we'll be like, yeah. We,
No, but generally,
as I know a young kid that
the
does
quilt
too.
conners were absolutely lovely. Every single one of them lovely, engaging, and they were, but by about 9 o'clock at night, gone from the bar.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I don't think there's going to be any problem. It's just a case of being a little bit sensible. Plus, as well, as TF Nation takes over the bar. TF Nation is in the Hilton. I guarantee you that by the Saturday night, that will be a Transformers bar. People coming into it will be the ones going, "Oh my God, what's this?" If anything, the care, and this goes right back to Coco Wild's query, is as long as the TF Nation people aren't pushing it in the beer people's face, that's fine. And there'll be as well. There's always crossover. There's always lovely moments where some of the beer guys will be like, "Oh, this is great." The only thing is just making sure that there's that kind of boundary of they don't start picking up toys and walking around with them.
Yeah.
And they realize that these things are expensive. But remember, this is also, I've got to say, this is a hotel that has furry conventions, that has Star Trek conventions, that has Terry Pratchett conventions, that has other conventions I probably can't talk about now because these guys will start sniggering too much convention. There's a lot of delicate stuff. You're always then in those sort of conventions going to brush up against Joe Public. Remember, the Hilton is open to the public. There'll be a bunch of travelers there. People who've just come back from the States or flown in, or they're just stopping off overnight, or they've got an executive meeting, or they're in one of the 15 other meeting rooms that you've never seen before because the Hilton does so much. Don't worry about it. As Sammy says, though, you look after yourself, just be a little bit more aware, stay in your groups, that's fine. The big thing, though, is probably not best you go out and try and walk when you're half cut and try and discover a new route back to your hotel, which is 30 minutes walk away, if you don't know where you're going. That's probably the biggest concern I have.
Yeah.
So, don't worry too much about the other things. And look, I absolutely guarantee that TFN have already got their eye on this. They're already thinking about this. There'll be guys, if Billy needs to say something or the rest of the guys need to say something, it will come out with the right tone, the measured tone.
Sorry, Adam. I just wanted to just say is to the individual that said he was a bit concerned about coming. If you do have any concerns, or if you do see anything, or you witness any issue that may arise, or could arise, or what have you, or if within yourself you feel a little bit unsure about something, if you see one of the volunteers, anyone in a coloured T-shirt with TF Nation on it, approach. But they are your best bet, because they will. If they can't do anything at that moment in time, they will get somebody who can help you, like Billy, for instance, or somebody else. They're a great team of people. They know how to talk to people on certain levels of the spectrum. They know how to deal with a situation. and they also are very approachable and kind. So they will put your mind at rest and things like that of that nature. So if you do need to get advice at that moment in time while you're at the convention, always consider approaching a volunteer.
And if you can't find anybody,
Anybody like that.
I mean, because sometimes they have meetings, sometimes they're in and out and all the places. Find me, find John, find a regular. You'll see us around, and we will point you in the right direction as well.
Yeah, it's exactly what Tony said. If you recognise either of us, well, me and Tony, for instance, if you recognise us walking round, and if you come, by all means come and say hello. We're not going to bite. It depends if I've not had my sausage that morning, but we'll see. That came out very wrong.
It did.
That came out wrong, a lot less than I thought. But I will digress. I'm going to move swiftly on with that.
I am so disappointed in you right now. If I had a tripod, you would be in so much trouble. I think honestly, guys, don't. I know it sounds blasé, but don't worry. The problem is because if we talk, and let's face it, neither of us have anything to do with the organization of TFN.
No.
We have no idea what the beer festival is like, even though I've been to a beer festival and it's mostly a bunch of old men. That's the thing. It's also, it's a food and drink festival as well, but it's called the Great British Beer Festival. It's going to be a bunch of old people. It's going to be fine. But I think because it's in our nature to just think because we're TF Nation, attendees as well. It doesn't matter if you're staff or attendees. You're always looking out for other people. So that's why we worry a bit. But the danger is that our worry means that we create a situation that probably isn't there.
Yeah.
So we're probably worrying about nothing. If anything, in previous years, I've been more concerned about the dancers. And that's just when I've just been there on the sidelines looking at them. So, yeah, it's fine. And it's good to see as well that some people in the chat are as embarrassed by Knowlsy's various statements as we are. So thank you.
Yeah.
And Raymond, I know you know how to handle Tony and Knowlsy. I'll tell you what, if I'm not there, Raymond, I might give you an extra tripod so you can bash him over the head with. However, Silvermoon, you're just as bad as they are. Sorry.
Yes.
I don't trust you an inch.
Yes. We love you, Sam. But no, I think the main takeaway of all this is just have fun. Go there, buy your robot, sit in the bar, few beers, few drinks, But just like I said, all we're basically doing is just be mindful. Like I said, if you're in a different hotel room, a different hotel, plan your journey, plan ahead a bit. Like I said, there's nothing worse than you think, because it's happened to us all, suddenly you realise it's 10 o'clock at night and you think, oh, crap, I've got a big bunch of stuff I need to get back to the hotel room. It happens to us all because you're just having a good laugh and playing Cards Against Humanity or whatever you're playing and stuff, because that happens too, And it's just a case of if you just go for an hour, go get changed and shower and come back, that's it, But like I say, ask around, Facebook groups, and just try and find people in the same hotel as you, and then and then like car share and stuff as well.
Yeah. I think Knowlsy and I are both laughing at Sam because
I saw Adam's face snigger and I thought, what's that?
No, but it's going to be a good laugh. I mean, it's also, I think this year is going to be slightly more busier than usual because we're going to have a lot of anime fans coming for Scott McNeil.
Well, that's the other thing as well. Realize that like last year, like you guys have said as well, last year was really busy for TF Nation.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Like we know this as well. They said about figures, they said about attendees, it's busy. We know it's busy this year. We just know, just because the response to the hotel rooms, to the response overall, to the great response to the TF Nation Manchester Minicon, which I'll quickly say I was at a couple of weeks ago. I've never been to an event with such a good vibe as I had there, and everyone going out the door, everyone was like, see you in Birmingham, see you in Birmingham, see you in Birmingham, and they're all positive, they're all buzzing for it. you're going to have a huge crowd of people. So again, it's not like, oh, what do we do? There's only a couple of us and a big beer festival. No, there's going to be a swarm of us, all with half people in cosplay looking like God knows what. Trust me, I'm more worried about somebody staggering out of the beer festival and somebody coming face to face with a 7-foot wooden cyclonus. I mean,
yeah,
it's
just me without my makeup on.
it's the clash of cultures, but that's what makes it so good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's going to be stories. There's going to be people running into people, and you'll see the most absurd things. Because one year, it was just after I'd gone to bed, and this is not John this time. There was a naked guy in the reception.
Yes, I was there.
I literally missed that by like 5 minutes. I literally went to bed and I missed
it. To my utter shame, I looked across. I saw naked man at reception. By the way, this is not like a legend, like somebody's made this up.
No.
There was a naked man at reception. And I was sat with Brad.
Yeah.
And he just went, hey, there's a naked guy at reception. And we went, oh, yeah. And then I just turned back and continued my conversation because I was probably talking about something far more interesting. When what I really wanted to do, if I thought about it, I would have been like, right, somebody grab my camera, give me 2 minutes. I'm going to walk over there and just calmly strike up a conversation. And I just want the idea of me stood in the reception, fully clothed, calmly chatting to a naked guy. But I don't know if anyone's ever seen it. It's one of the Police Academy films where they did a whole thing where what was it? It was a stunt where the whole idea was they played a trick on one of the guys. They'd swapped his shampoo for something that kind of partially blinded him. And he had his hair all frothed up and he didn't know where he was going. And he thought he was going into his lounge or whatever. And he just walked out of his room and he locked the door. This happened to the guy. He got up in the middle of the night. He went to use the bathroom. He walked into what he thought was the bathroom and he just walked out of the door to his room. And of course, the door swung shut. And so he walked down completely naked to reception and calmly asked for a key to his room, and that was it. And yeah, I kind of, again, it's just one of those things. It's like, when else am I going to get the opportunity to meet naked guy in a reception? By the way, that's nothing filthy on my part. It's just the randomness.
Yeah, that's it. There will be at least one random event there that everybody will latch on, like the family planning one, where one guy. Now this is typical of a bunch of nerds. There's one guy protesting, and he's up on the balcony in one of the rooms. Well, it's not really a balcony. He's like that much space between the window and the rail there, and he's in between that, and he's got a sign up, and he's protesting. Somebody said he's dressed up like Batman, and of course, us nerds go, which version of Batman? Then we find out he's dressed as Night Owl from Watchmen, and of course the next question is, but which version? Is it the movie version or the comic book version? Rather than there's a guy dressed up, stood protesting, which version of it is? And then later on, he set the fire off and the sprinkler system wet quite a lot of rooms. And so there's that incident as well.
A little bit of context to that, because this all did happen. So there was a family planning thing going on. This was at the height of a thing called Fathers for Justice, where people dressed up as superheroes and they would protest. So in the same way that the Just Stop Oil group, in the last year or so, made a lot of very visible protests and then they moved on. Fathers for Justice initially did these sort of disruptive events, and then they sort of moved into a more kind of legal-based kind of positive, but still protesting for the rights of fathers, which is a good cause. It's not a bad thing. But yeah, what they did was the guy was up near the roof, apparently. In fact, I believe it was that. They then said, well, we'll talk you down. Please walk down. And because they were worried for his safety, they didn't go and accompany him from the room to the stairwell. They said, no, you can just walk from wherever you are at down the stairs to us. So of course what the guy does is he walks out of the room, gets his lighter, and as he's walking down the hall, he just sets the sprinklers off. So he doesn't even start a fire. He just gets the sprinklers. And this is the first time I actually heard of the Hilton Garden Inn, because, of course, you suddenly had a load of people who couldn't stay in their hotel rooms.
Yeah.
So they shipped them over to the Garden Inn. That was the first time I heard about it.
But
yeah,
it was as well as I bought some stuff off. Who did I buy it off? Gareth, I think it was, and I've got a few Beast Wars figures already. And I thought, I'll just put these up in the room. And I went up to the room and I got stopped at the lift. And they went, "Where are you going?" I said, "Oh, the room's just there." And she went, "Which room number?" "They're all flooded." I was like, "What?" But luckily, my room was just out of the range of being flooded.
Yeah. That was it. It was a very weird situation. They also, as well, because I think it was on the Friday, they did put a post out saying, "Could cosplayers please refrain from coming in cosplay because we have police on site for," and naturally you have to have police on site. But I always remember walking through reception just after the event, and like the police were all sort of mulling around, and one policeman passed some of the cosplayers and just went, "Nice rifle." And then we realized that he, on his kit, had a very smartly disguised Autobot sign, but it was there. He was genuinely a member of the armed police, had an Autobot sign on him. And if you didn't know, if you weren't looking for it, you wouldn't notice it, but it was there. And it was like, "You have just outed yourself, mate." And I almost said to him, I said, "Look, if you want a free ticket, you might have to like put an orange cap over your gun because it's a real one, but nobody can doubt the authenticity of the weapon." By the way, I just want to say hi to Jermaine because, hello, mate.
Hey,
It's
Jermaine!
been too long.
The man, the ledge, the reason why we're doing this kind of live stream. Because Jermaine, bless you, sir, you did walk around all night trying to get through the NEC and it was all locked up.
I remember this because I was literally in the bar talking with Jermaine at the time, and I think it was, I can't remember who was with us now, but there was a few of us around the table, and at this point it must have been around maybe about 4ish. I don't know. It was quite late.
Jeez Louise, how did he get into the Jermaine? How did you get into the part of the NEC?
Well, he did. That's the thing. He didn't.
Oh, well, he was just trying to cross back across it, and he couldn't get in. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Basically, he left the bar. He went to the NEC, discovered it was shut up, so it was after midnight, and he then told us he got stopped about 3 or 4 times by like security police around the whole place asking if he's okay. And he's just spent something like 2 or 3 hours walking around the whole of the complex trying to find an exit. And then he comes back. Luckily, we were still up in the bar at this point in time. And then Jermaine just rocks back up again as if nothing happened. And I was just like, "I thought you went back to your hotel room." And he just goes, "I've just spent the past 3 hours walking around the whole complex trying to find an exit, and I couldn't get out." And I was just like, and then he basically just stayed and went in for breakfast.
Well, this is the problem. If you're, one of the things when I was doing the talk is that it's meant to be about hotels, but you can't talk about the hotel situation unless you talk about the NEC situation. And people will probably be rolling their eyes going, "Oh, why is that?" Yeah, but it's just shut. You just walk around it. It's no big deal. Right. Even during the day, it is not a familiar environment.
It's a huge place as well.
It's a huge place.
Massive.
Now, in an hour, you can walk around it. But the problem is that whilst you're going around it, it's so disorientating that you can walk right past where you need to just step out and not realize. And because there's a lot of car parks there as well, it literally blurs into each other. So, for instance, the Ibis Styles, that's not a bad place to walk to after dark because that's like one road. And then you just sort of cut around the stadium, the music stadium, and then you just cut back in on yourself and it's straight round to the lake and everything else. However, if you're going to the Premier Inn, you're walking under stuff, you're walking through stuff. It is a pain in the butt. And the thing is that a little bit of pre-planning, just a little bit will help. Even if it's just doing the walk on a Friday, just helps you out. Or worst comes to worst, just stick it in the back of your head. I'm staying somewhere else. I've saved enough money. I know I'm going to feel guilty about it, but I'm just going to get myself a taxi. Just do it. Just do it. Because you know what? I'll tell you what, we do not want to hear at one time that somebody tries walking around and ends up having a real issue because they're stressed out and they're worried and they don't know where they're going. I mean, that'd be terrible. So just do the sensible thing. Also, if you see Jermaine, don't let him out of the bar until 7 o'clock the next morning. I think that's the easiest.
Yeah.
Not staying at the Hilton reminder. Yes, they do. I know TFN has mentioned it before, and like that was a big part of what I've said tonight. But I think maybe, I don't know, guys, if you be up for this, maybe nearer to the event, just reminding people on the Going to TFN Facebook page, like saying, look, you've got to consider your times here. If you're staying late, great. I mean, sod it. I wouldn't go so far as going around the bar going, hello, have you got yourself a taxi? Are you going to stay late? But at the same time, especially if there's really young attendees and they're clearly having a late one, just go to them and go, are you walking back to like the Premier Inn? Do you know where you're going? You know, it's fine. Yeah. If I see, don't worry, Jermaine, I always run when I see you anyway. Yeah. Actually, I don't because I'm an old man, so I just stagger in a direction.
It's all right. We'll just give him a brave max and tell him to get it home. But no, it's just be mindful. Just think, I've got 20-minute walk away. I need to get a taxi. But like I say, if there's plenty of people staying in the same hotel as you, like I say, got in a group chat and just say, look, I'm going back to the hotel. Anybody need a taxi? I'll jump in together. It's going to be a lot cheaper as well.
Absolutely. Also, as well, I said about I know you can walk to the Arden. You can walk to the airport. In fact, if you look at the actual map and you look at some of the airport hotels, they're literally 5 minutes from some of the NEC. But the problem is that it's just a winding series of roads. Most of them are motorways. There are footpaths, but it's going to be like 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning. Do you really trust yourself, especially if you've not seen the area before? So,
just a few beers as well.
After a few beers. And the fact is, though, 99% of people are going to be in bed way, way before then. They're going to be in bed with their G1 Optimus Prime. They're going to be happy as hell that they've got their toy. They're grand. It's just for a few people. And again, it only ever affects a few people anyway. So,
yeah.
But I mean, I think the biggest takeaway is have fun, have a laugh,
absolutely,
have a blast, save up your money, buy that expensive thing if you want. But I also say in my videos, I'm going to do me standard TFNation videos anyway.
Cool.
But I always say have emergency money just in case.
Yes.
Just keep £100 away. Just think, well, I can use that for food, I can use that for drinks, I can use that for taxi fare, I can use that for just that extra bit. Because I've done it. I'm sure we've all done it. That first day, the temptation to spend all your money in that dealer's room is incredible. The first year I ever went, all my money, most of my money went in a few hours, and it's just kind of thing. Then I went, oh, damn. Luckily, I've got enough saved. Look, I'd just been paid that weekend, so I'd had money in my bank. But if I hadn't, I'd have been a bit stuck. So always be mindful of that as well. There's nothing wrong getting the expensive thing or lots of things, but just keep that £100 back. And if you've not spent it by the end of the weekend, Sunday afternoon bargain day when the dealers are taking the stuff down, there's nothing wrong with shooting a cheeky bargain at them, cheeky price, and 9 times out of 10 they'll say yeah. So
what I would say as well, there's a couple of things here. Firstly, if you're at the Hilton, remember this discount. This deposit rule. Because I had it in Manchester. I left the room spotless. They took us one, and the thing is, it really felt, when I saw it, it felt like one of those transfer fee bollocks things. It was like a £2 or £3 payment because of bollocks. And the thing is, that's a policy for the Hilton. So if you've just scraped enough money to get your room and you check in, and suddenly they take £100, £200 out of your account, you might be screwed. So you need a buffer there anyway. You also need to check with the Hilton when you check in. and say, are you taking extra money from my account? Okay. They are allowed to do it. It's not like, oh, how dare you? I have my rights under the Magna Carta. No, sorry. If they do it, they do it. The problem is you just need to be prepared for if they do.
I was literally
So
about to mention about that because I spoke to a couple of people that got stung by that last year.
well, you see, the thing is
There
though,
was a couple of people. Sorry, there was a
no, go
couple
on.
of people that got literally charged double, say basically the same price for the room
Yep.
twice.
Yep, that's it. The extra bit, like for the Manchester one, I was charged more they kept trying to take more out of my account as a deposit than the actual cost of the rooms. And then when I checked in, they took less than a fifth of the price. So it's really weird. So you need to be prepared for that. You also, as well, if you're buying anything, you really need to be aware that you're going to like the first thing you need to think about is I need to be able to transport this home safely. So there's no point buying 300 things if you can't get them home. And look, I've done it before. I left a box for a figure. I'm not going to mention it because I'll get ridiculed too badly, but I just physically couldn't take it. And it was an older figure, and the box was part of the reason I paid for the figure. I couldn't take it. It was just too much. So
Well,
you've got to be careful. And finally, Raymond mentioned something as well, is that there's things like ATMs and access to money. And think about as well, during a beer festival, there's going to be a lot of money going out those ATMs, so you might not be able to access it. So it's having flexible access to money, be it card or be it cash, over the weekend is going to serve you really well if you have it, and be a pain if you don't. Sorry, mate.
I recommend cash as a rule at these things because I mean computers can go down, signals can go down, and you might not be able to buy the thing that you want on your card. If you've got the cash there, no problem. Save your card for things like going for food at the the Resort World or wherever you want to go. That's fine, but just at the event, sometimes it can happen where computers have gone down, signal and all this kind of stuff. So have money in your wallet that you can go, yeah, I'll have that for 200 quid or whatever. So that's always a good shout because, like I say, things might go wrong. It's planning ahead. Because the last thing you want to do is wait there and wait there. It's not going. It's been charged. It hasn't been charged. You could be waiting. I mean, I've not seen it at TFNation. Usually the signal's pretty good. I have seen it at other conventions where people, the signal have gone down or whatever, and people have gone waiting an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours for it to come back up again. You know what I mean? So it can be.
Do you want to know the best example of this?
Go on.
I think it was a year and a half ago. I want to say now, like time, obviously, when you're old, time starts to all blend together. But
Really good, yeah.
I met up with Adam Nicol at a big 40K convention in Manchester. They had the big Manchester Arena. It was laid out terribly. The shop was laid out so poorly that it actually forced people to queue outside of the shop to then go into the shop, but they were carrying their purchases. So they were actually walking out of the place where they were, and it was like GW were just trusting that they would still queue up and not just walk away.
Yeah.
But the problem for the delay was they couldn't get a signal. All the card machines, and they wouldn't take cash. So yeah, you're right. These sorts of things do happen. I think it's pretty good though for signal now. Like the Hilton is normally works quite hard to make sure there is a signal. If it's gone down there, it's gone down everywhere.
Yeah, but always be prepared though. Just like I say, it's quick and easy just to go. Here's 20 quid. Here's 30 quid. Blah blah blah. Done. And then save your card for like your beers and your food and stuff like that. That's what I do generally.
Yeah. Jermaine, your bank blocked your card at the Reading event because you were buying suspicious items.
Yes.
Not at the Minicon, but elsewhere, and you know it. So stop trying to lie. We know the real reason.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I had to argue with Hasbro Pulse about me Leo cards because my bank thought he was suspicious, taking that large amount of money. Couple of rounds later, and it's I'm not getting Leo cards, it turns out, so I'm a bit disappointed, but there we are. I have to buy it at TFN next year.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's like I say, it's just little things like that you won't think be a problem might be a problem. So it's always worth just, like I said, a couple of £100 in your pocket, then you've got some breathing room. If something does go wrong, you've got cash, you know?
I just realized as well, also, just adding to that, and I don't know if anyone listening to this is going to be affected because it's going to be a tiny proportion.
Yeah.
But if you're buying a RoboSend Bumblebee, please check with your bank first, because you don't want to be there at the front of the queue and your bank is absolutely freaking out because you're buying a bee, and you are fully prepared to buy it, but your bank is going absolutely spare because why are you spending this much money on a robot?
Yeah. There is that, yeah. So, like I say, it's going to be...
Jermaine, what the hell, man?
Yeah. I heard about that. I didn't see it. I heard that, yeah.
The only thing that would have made it better if this is Simon had automatically autographed the back of the card out of sheer habit. And suddenly the card is unusable again. It's like, the next time he goes to pay, it's like, it says here you're Mr. Simon Furban.
Yeah. Wait a minute. I didn't pay for 2 hotel rooms.
But yeah, don't worry, Sammy, I feel the same.
I mean, I always go through this for on my videos separate anyway, but I'm going to say it here as well, is don't go to the first dealer table and just spend all your money at one table, because the worst thing in the world is you find something that you want and you buy it, and a couple of tables down they've got it for a £5 cheaper. It does happen. I have seen it happen. So but generally the price is about the same, but it does happen. It will happen. So I like to what I call play Monopoly first. Go around a couple of times, see what's where, and think, right, this is what I'm going to buy first, and then you go from there, really. And also as well, if there's nothing wrong with striking up a bargain with a dealer, any dealers is fine. Say they've got something marked at £50 and say, will you accept 45? Chances are they'll say yes. But please don't do that at Toy Fu, because all the money goes to charity. It goes to Mary's Meals. They raise so much money. So that's the only table I won't say don't do the bargaining. Just pay what they're asking, and you get good deals anyway. You'll get everything from £1 to £1,000 from that stall, and everything in between that. So that's the only thing I suggest is pay what Toy Fu are asking, because it all goes to charity. So it's all good.
Yeah, I mean there are people that buy stuff from Toy Fu. They pay for it. I've done it before. They pay for it. You get given the toy, you go, thank you. And then I put the toy back on Toy Fu and I've walked off, because it's a great way of it's giving to charity. What I would say as well is, I know there's, for people who are only coming on the Saturday, you might think, well, maybe at the end of Saturday, I'll do a bargain. But if you think about the big scheme of things, even Saturday is probably not the time to start asking about getting a deal. Sunday maybe. And no, I'll admit as well, as I think all of us can at least let's just say we're all a little bit less vertically challenged than Nick from Toy Fu is. He's not the biggest lad in the world. However, it would take a brave man indeed to ask for a 10% discount even on a Sunday afternoon from that man.
Yeah.
Because I would feel that the blood in my body turned to ice, and I would just keel over. So.
I'd be like, right. Tenner on Nick Davidson. Come on.
And also, here's the beautiful thing as well. I think, I'm trying to remember who said it, but the fact is that even if it's something super, good example, Animated Blackout. Animated Blackout was a grail for one guy, and I've seen him 2 or 3 different events. I mean, admittedly, there were mini-cons in Manchester, and he missed out, I think, twice. One of them was actually genuinely really unfair, and he was right at the front of the queue as well. It wasn't fair what happened, but it's the way it goes. He was okay with it. He managed to get his grail this time around. He was so happy. But the thing is, it made me think. Animated Blackout is one of those figures that you rarely ever see. It's just super rare.
Yeah,
Toy Fu's had it a couple of times in a row. If you don't get something now, and this ties in, I think, with what sort of Sammy's saying as well, it's like, conserve your money. Spending it all is just silly. I mean, these are wise words from Sammy. But it's like, you're going to see all this stuff again next year, most of it. you're going to see. Okay, can we switch Thrussell's camera off at this point, just so that we can have a? There we go. Thank you, sir.
Sorry, I just got my grill off, so I'm so sorry.
So, but the fact is, you're going to see most of it again. The problem is, as you guys have said, your first year, the first time you're there, it's that pressure to buy. But once you've done like an event or two, and it's nice because a lot of people are coming from mini cons, so they've technically had their first event, and now they're at this big event. They'll ease down. They won't need to get so much. If that's a reason as well why the hall is so busy, even through to Sunday afternoon, because a lot of people have stayed away. They're not doing stuff and building a load of big stuff, buying a load of stuff. They're waiting and they're just going, right, what takes my fancy now? And that's when you get the weird, I bought a random Rock Lord knockoff. It's just like, it's good. I mean, if that was me, I would honestly, I think I would. I'd go to TFNation. I would wait until 4:00 on a Sunday. Then I would start shopping and I would just try and get the weirdest stuff. Go up to each trader and go, hey, what hasn't sold and hasn't sold for about 3 years? And then I'd buy that.
Well, that's it. I mean, you can always, like I say, you can always ask the dealers and say, what I've got, you look at your thing, like, I've got 50 quid left. What can you do for 50 quid? The chances are, you have this, and this, 50 quid done. Because, I'm not saying that they all will, but I mean generally, because it's the less they take home, the better. If they're taking home some money, that's it. Because they've usually made enough money on the Saturday that they can allow for a few bargains here and there. Because I've done it every year I've been going. I'm not going to gouge them, like get something that's £200 for a tenner or anything like that. But if I can get like 10, 15 quid off, I'm stoked. But like I said, at Toy Fu though, I've often gone, oh, is that 45 quid? Here's 50, keep the change.
I'd say the mini-cons are proving a wealth of excitement because there's some really unique stuff that's showing up there that you wouldn't see at TFN. The best one was the G1 Jazz lampshades.
What?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They were good as well. Also, the G1 pinball machine.
Oh,
it's like the little tabletop plastic, about yay big pinball. Oh, it was so good. A boxed GoBots puzzler, which I practically drooled over. I had to physically walk myself away from, and I'm still super tempted to contact the person and try and get it now. And there's lots of other weird stuff. And like one year, I donated a G1 Soundwave soap.
What?
Which, one of my proudest moments. Because I think I walked up to Turnbull because he was by the thing. And I just went, look at this, I'm donating this. And he just looked at it and went, yeah, I'm having that. And it was like,
damn it.
I think it lasted on the Toy Food store for about 3 seconds. But and I've got other stuff. So that's kind of, that's the joy is like you find weird stuff. Yeah, G1 Soundwave soap. And it was the box art of Soundwave, which meant it was highly, highly unpractical, and yet it had a fresh smell still.
Wow,
it was good. It is. Can we ban Jermaine from the chat, please?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're banned. Get off. No, but I mean, that's the other thing as well is, I mean, they have the new stuff, they have the G1 stuff, but they always have weird stuff. Now, I always generally put a challenge out for people because when I do videos, I like to see what other people have bought as well. Because a lot of people go, this is my haul, I bought this, and this. But because I go, right, find something that's tat and complete tat is what I like to call it. And because you're rummaging for something weird, but you'll find something you didn't know was there or didn't expect to see. And you go, oh my God, do you know what? I'm having that as well, So it gets you looking, gets you rummaging, which is quite nice. Because I found this really oversized G1 Optimus Prime artwork, the artwork on the box, badge, which is about that big. And it is awful. It's so bad. It was £4, I think I paid for it. It's just, I've never even heard of the company before. It's a vintage one as well. It's not even a new one. It's a vintage one. It was awful. And I went, I've got to have that. It's so good. It's just so bad as well.
Sorry, I'm just
just went into the comments and just go.
Yeah.
Well done, Raymond. Well done.
We
Sorry, I tried to join the chat to just applaud you, and my computer was threatening to switch everything off, so I was like, no, I'll just leave it.
Yeah, I need to get one of them stream bars that can have sound effects then.
It's funny because for Dave Tree, I hope to one day give him the what was it? I don't even know. I think it was like Revenge of the Sith, Stormtrooper aftershave.
What?
Yeah, boxed. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. It's just Stormtrooper. It's just odd. I don't even know if it's knockoff or real. But it's one of those things that one day I'll see Dave Tree and I'll have it with me and I'll just give it to him and go, there you go. So you too can smell like a Stormtrooper. I don't think I've even seen a proper box of it online.
No, I can't see it. I'm just Googling for it now and I can't see it.
There's all sorts of weird stuff. That's the beauty as well of Transformers from the early 80s. Is there's a lot
of... wait. I think I found it. No, that's not it. That's yeah.
And chat
Found
waits in awe whilst the Transformer chat starts going on about Star Wars cologne.
This.
Is it a different? It's probably a different film, isn't it? Let's have a look.
Why has it not done it?
Sorry, chat. We're waiting with bated excitement now. In a galaxy far, far away,
is that it?
You can smell a musk. No, it's not. No,
right.
No, it's nothing so fancy.
Oh.
No, it's far, far more basic.
Oh. Do you know what? I'm gonna have to keep an eye out for that myself now.
So that'll be the follow-up then. Adam debuts his Stormtrooper cologne at TFNation 2027.
Smells like burning younglings.
Yes. Smells like a missed shot.
Smells like 3 crap films from Disney. No, but that's the beauty of that dealer's room is the moment before they open the doors, even on the Friday, there's an anticipation because it's like Schrodinger's cat. Before they open the door, obviously if you've not been in the room yet, they have everything potentially, and they also have nothing. It's like Schrodinger's cat; it's both alive and dead at the same time. And so there's that anticipation of what you're going to find when the doors of wonder open. You know what I mean? And because the best picture I've seen from TFN is that picture of Julia. I think Julia's first year. She's literally in the dealer's room, and there's like the biggest smile on her face. It's an amazing photo.
It is beautiful.
Yeah, Jehan. Yeah, she's like, and it is literally like that. If you've never been, it is like Christmas. It's like Christmas morning, and it's robot Christmas as I like to call it. But no, but there is that moment of sheer wonder, especially if it's your first time, and then you walk in and it's just, where do you go first?
Yeah, I can vouch for that one because back in 2010, I was obviously my very first convention ever. September 2010, and the whole thing was completely outside the box sort of thing. I'd never done anything quite like that before, so I was a bit anxious the whole traveling down and stuff because it's the first time and doing anything like that. And I finally get there. My first interactions actually was Jared Wolfgang 1 and Johnny Dwarf Pornstar. Literally, as I walk into the hotel to sort the room out, and they put me at ease, and I thought that was fantastic because obviously I had a good laugh with them too. And then basically, when it came to the next day, this was the Friday getting there, and then obviously the Saturday when the dealer rooms opened up, I just remember literally it was almost like I got hit by, almost as if I got hit by like an invisible wall, basically. It just felt like I just come to a complete stop, and I literally, my mouth was just, my jaw was like touching the floor, basically. And I was just in awe of I've never seen so many toys in one room. So I'm literally, I know what that feels like when it's your first time experiencing and seeing so many toys in one room. And I blitzed through over £1,000 that weekend.
Easy done.
It's just easy. That's just on toys. And then there was I think I only had about 50 quid less for food for the rest of the weekend.
That happens. That happens.
But yeah, don't do that, people. It's your first time. I mean, I learned that was a big mistake on my part. But the point of what I'm trying to say is that it can happen. It's easily to be overwhelmed about, in a good way, about stuff that's going on, and the dealer room and stuff. But as well when it comes to conventions, is you see a lot of people like going there because they want to get a massive haul. They want to get a really impressive, big, massive haul, and it's like, yeah, okay, if you want to do that, that's your thing, fine, okay, but it's not about that. As you two have just been kind of saying, it's like it's finding something that, like a grail, for instance, something you've been looking for so long. It doesn't matter about the size of the haul that you've got,
No.
as long as you like are like, oh, I'm so happy with this haul. I might have only got like 3 figures the whole weekend. As long as you're happy with them, that's all that matters, and
Yes,
that's what people
absolutely.
need to. That's what people need to remember when it comes to any convention, not just TFNation.
Yeah, because one year I only spent something ridiculous, like I think about £100 one year, and I come back with like nearly £1,000 in my pocket. Not because I didn't want anything; it was just kind of like, I'm happy with what I bought. There's nothing, too extravagant that year. It was just kind of like, but then it was like I was there, I was here, I didn't get a chance to see the dealer's room that much, and there's all these different factors. But you know what? Was I disappointed? No, I had a fantastic weekend. I got some choice items, and that's it. That's all that matters, really. It's and like you said, going back to what you were saying about the haul and how you're getting it home. This is what I tend to do. I tend to take a largest suitcase, which is mostly empty. I tend to travel light. So if you do want to buy the big ticket items, there's room in your bag to put it in as well. And I always take one of them big bag for lives as well. Because it's got 2 functions. If you want to take your own food and stuff like that, take it in that. And then when you've eaten it all for the weekend, put all your purchases in that bag, jobs are good. And if you're coming in car, makes no difference. But if you're travelling on train or bus or whatever, yeah, you've got to be wary of what you can take, what the train will allow or the bus will allow you to take as well. Because there's nothing worse going, well, I've got a Fort Max and a Brave Max, and I'm going to take these home, and then the bus driver's got, you're not getting them on the coach.
Yeah. You'll have that. I mean, I'm lucky, although I have extremely expensive tastes. I try and keep it down to a limited range. I don't really force my particular interests down anyone's throats. My interest in terms of Transformers, it's fine, and you wouldn't even know what I was into because I hide it so well. Also, by the way, I should really get some more Transformers soap so I can wash out a certain person's mouth. Silver Moon. But no, the fact is that the things that you can get, sometimes it's the cheapest thing. So I think I've said this before. I'll say it here because it's a good excuse. I have one Transformer on show. One Transformer. I know I just showed something, but I have one Transformer figure on show. It is a thing that cost me 10 quid. It was 10 quid from Kapow. And it's an MP1. And the reason behind it is because 2010, when they were packing up everything, I was crushing all the cardboard for Toy Fu. And he was amazed that because people, back then as well, some of the volunteers, some of them were great. Like Turnbull worked his socks off. Billy did, some of the old crew. But there were other people that signed up to be a volunteer at AA, and they literally stood by the door for half an hour and then pissed off, and you never saw them again.
Yeah.
I mean, it was really bad. So he was amazed that somebody was helping him. So at the end of it, he goes, in Andy Toyfu's kind of slightly David Beckham-esque voice, he's like, "Hey, Adam, do you want me to get you anything? Are you sure? Is there anything I can get for you?" And he wanted to give me something. And I was like, well, no, because, I'm actually doing this because I kind of enjoy helping out at the event. It gives me the excuse. It gets over my fear because, likewise, I was scared shitless about going to auto assembly. But in the end, we agreed that I would buy this Junker MP Prime for a tenner.
Mm.
And if you shook it too hard, it's like its legs fell off because the hip was busted.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But then a couple of years,
those, yeah.
couple of years later, I'm actually living with Nick Toifu in Birmingham, and they're doing some various bits. I'm helping them out, and then they reveal that they've actually got themselves another busted junker MP Prime that they were going to get rid of, but it's got good hips. So one of the guys offers to literally do surgery on the two MPs and gives me a working MP.
Oh, nice.
And then a year or two later, I'm helping out a friend in a Manchester shop who now owns a company that has a lot of like movie cars. So like the Stranger Things car, a kit, a DeLorean, a proper Ecto one, like a proper one, all of this stuff. And helping her out in the shop. And she goes, "Oh, can you, I've got all these toys." So I literally name all these toys for her, tell her the pricing, everything. At the end of it, she goes, "Oh, I've got this one thing and I don't know what to do with it. It's just this random thing. Oh, and I got some old weird magazines as well." And I was like, "Well, what's the one thing?" "It's a gun for MP1 Prime."
Oh,
And
wow.
she's like, "Well, you can have it." So I'm like, "Yeah, you know what? I'll take it because it goes along with the Prime. That it's just goodwill from people." And you know what the weird photocopied stuff was? All the original Transformer UK fan group stuff, including original stories by James Roberts and an original competition entry by Nick.
Oh, cool.
And it's just like all these things tied together. So my £10 Masterpiece Prime is the most precious, one of the most precious items I own.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can kind of, obviously, it's not obviously a TFNation or convention purchase per se, but I have something that, I have a figure that I kind of have a lot more, I have it in much more high regard, if you will. It was a figure, obviously it's an Armada figure. It's basically, long story short, to make it straight to the point, basically it's Armada Megatron. And when I was a kid, I always wanted one. I never got one when I was a kid. My parents never bought me one. I don't know why. And I always wanted one. And but where I live in Hessel, which is just on the outskirts of Hull, and basically, literally just about like 15-minute walk away from where Tony lives. And
sorry about that, Tony.
Yeah, I am fortunate. This is
better than I have to bear every day.
But yeah, basically, there was a toy shop where we lived, like a proper little independent toy shop. It was a really good one. It got a lot of the current stuff in. I got my Pokemon cards from there, all that stuff. Really great. And so yeah, I used to kind of go to this one section that was like halfway down as you go through the door to the right, and you just go down this little like walkway. All the Transformers were just on this wall here, and it was all like Starscream was in there. I'm out of Starscream. It was during the Unicron trilogy Toyland, obviously. And I would just stand there staring at these figures, and I never got half of them because I used to have this thing where I used to kind of throw them across the room if I couldn't transform them. So my parents wouldn't buy me any, for obvious reasons. But yeah, basically,
I'm not allowed in the dealer's room anymore, John.
I don't do that anymore, thankfully. But yeah, I managed to find one on eBay. This is only going back maybe about 3 years ago now, maybe. And I was on eBay, and I managed to find one, and it was missing everything. It was basically just the figure. It didn't have its minicon, didn't have the missiles, didn't have the horns. It was missing the horns. Everything was missing. It was just the thing. And I thought, you know what? I'll do this as like a little project for myself, and I would try and find all the parts for it and make it complete. And I couldn't find any of the parts at that moment in time. And I basically I did like I think I did like a video, or I know I announced it on Facebook, I think, or social media somewhere. And I then started getting like comments and messages, private messages and stuff. I can't remember exactly who they were, but if anybody's actually watching this that remembers, but there was about literally one guy offered me for free, and the leader won his minicon.
Oh wow!
Then somebody else managed to give me for free his horns. And also, there was like someone else had spare missiles for him, and I managed to complete it in like one day. from just generosity of people within the community, within the fan base. And I made a review of the figure, and I thanked everybody for the generosity, the people that donated the parts,
That's
and
lovely.
I thought, and that is just proudly up in that corner right now. But that was a really touching thing, and I thought that's really cool. And I never paid a penny for all the parts, and it was just fantastic. Even though obviously I would gladly have offered money if I'm somebody that skimps out and wishes everything for free.
That's the
I
problem with
will.
this community, though. It is so.
Yeah.
People are so generous. People have just handed me things at TF Nation. It's just like,
Yeah.
here, have this, and I'm like, no, but don't you want? I'll get you. Don't you want anything? No, I'm fine. But don't even want. I'll get you a pint or something. A drink or pay for your dinner, or whatever. No, no, have it. It's yours. Keep it. And it's crazy. I mean,
yeah, I have to admit, I got given something at the Manchester Minicon, and I mean, nobody knows who I am anyway. A couple of you guys do because of history, but I haven't done any major podcasts or anything visible in donkey's years. And I'm there just chatting to somebody at the event, and I look down and I see some blockies, and I just happened to say, "Oh, yeah, Sideswipe, that's really, really cool. Yeah, I love him." And he just went, "Have it." And because it was apparently a dupe, and it's a blocky, and it's it's not full. It's just one of the small ones. It's the only thing I got from the event, because I go for the community. I go to volunteer. That's great. I was genuinely touched. I don't know who the hell this guy is, and yeah, I got myself a little Sideswipe, and that means the world to me. Just the thought. It genuinely is the thought that counts, which is great.
Because before I got my Black Zarak, just to go through it, Dorian.
No, but do you have? Sorry, did you say you have a Black Zarak?
Yeah, I may have mentioned it once or twice.
Wow.
But no, 2018, the year Stan Bush was there, Toifu had it on the table, and it was just a little bit too expensive. And I thought, for what money I had and things like that, and I went, do you know what? I'll pass. And I bought a Star Saber instead, right? A G1 Star Saber.
As you do.
As you do. And but Dorian, though, be about a week or so later, sent me the headmaster for it, and he goes, and I was just like completely out of the blue, because he sent me, he goes, "Oh, I've got something for you," and I'm like, "Well, what is it?" And he goes, "I've got something for you. It's a surprise. What's your address?" I sent him my address, but then about a few days later, it turned up, and it was the head. And he goes, "I know it's not, and it's something small, but it get you started." And I'm like, "Oh, that's brilliant." Mega Zarak, I think he's called. Can never remember. And but it was the reissue one, the knockoff reissue they did. Oh, I want to say 2010-ish, where they did all the rare headmasters in a box at their old KO ones.
Oh yes, I think I remember that.
And it was one of them out of that, yeah. And I thought, do you know what? I'm on the road. You know what I mean? And then 2019, that's where I got Black Zarak, and I haven't transformed him because I'm scared.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, but for the most part, he stands well on a shelf. Most of the gold plastic is transformation, and he stands well on the shelf. And for those of you, just a little nitpick, that same year, I think Thew's first video he did with Toifu, when they're going through all the stuff that they've got to sell and stuff like that. In that video, that Black Zarak in that video is the one I just showed earlier on, the one that's on my shelf right now.
So it has breathed the same air as Thew.
It has breathed the same air as Thew, yeah. Also the Star Saber as well. It's the again from that same hall. But yeah, I mean that's what I mean. So you might pass on a figure, but then you'll find another figure, that you weren't expecting to see. So it's always sometimes that a figure can be just too expensive, but then you think, but I've never seen one of those before, and it's half the price. I'll have that instead.
Yeah.
But I look at them as well as a tangible memory, something that you can look at or pick up and play with, and you're instantly back to the moment you bought it or somebody gave it to you.
That's the thing. You can buy you see people, they buy dozens of figures, and that's purchasing. That's all it is. It's a thing that you bought. Then there's other people that will buy 2 or 3 things, or they'll buy a bunch of things, but they'll only take pictures of one thing.
Yeah.
because it suddenly means so much.
Yeah.
And that's fantastic. It's like, as you know, people in the comments as well are talking about like swapping stuff. Also, as well, like Raymond said as well about just the idea of people giving back feedback, much like you guys get about how they're thanking you for their videos, encouraging them to come to TF Nation. You know, stuff like that. And it's like you can get gifts in terms of toys, but you also gifts in terms of praise for what you do or just recognition. It's fantastic. One of the things that I like the most as well is the gift of this sounds so cheesy, but it's the gift of awareness and acceptance. And yes, I know people will be dry heaving in the background, but the fact is that people are more tolerant at the event. They know, Knowlsy, as you said as well, there might be people there that are having a hard time adapting or maybe have a hard time approaching the event.
Yeah.
I know just from our point of view, and I say, this is one of the few times that I can say we for TF Nation, but like at the mini cons, there's at least one gentleman that we know, and we know that he likes the quieter areas and he keeps very much to himself, and he's a chatty guy, but he also, you know, it's that mix of he likes to be there but he wants to be removed, but he likes to be there, and he moves around a lot. He has free access. He's there when the dealer room is being set up. He's there when traders are setting up. He has free access because we know he just likes to move around. He just likes to be there. Doesn't hurt a fly. He's great. You will see him maybe sometime as well. You'll be queuing. You might be front of the queue, and suddenly like, how the hell is this guy just walking around? He's not a trader. He's an attendee. Yeah, because he's just trusted, and it's because we accept that he isn't going to do anything, and he doesn't do anything, and he's wonderful, and he's great. So yeah, that's our little way that we can show acceptance, and it's great because you see like kids coming with their folks, their parents. I always try and talk to the parents to make the parents feel valued because the kid's having a great time. The parents feel like they're out of their depth and panicking like hell. And also, yes, my kid is into toys, but why are half the people all 40-year-old men? This is all a bit weird. And then we chat to them and they're like, oh, okay, we get it now. We're cool with this. Okay, our child can go and rummage in the junker bins whilst we chat to you. It's all good.
Well, I used to work at the Entertainer in Hull, and a guy came up with his little lad. His little lad must have been 4 or 5, and they were buying Transformers. And I just happened to mention, because it was quite fairly close to the event, and I just happened to mention, TF Nation in Birmingham, blah, 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 blah. Check the website out, you know, in conversation and stuff. And lo and behold, I get shouted, hey, you're the guy from Entertainer, you know. And the little lad is dressed up like Optimus Prime, and he was the most excited kid I have ever seen because he got to sit in the truck. You know when they have the truck outside, the Optimus Prime truck, and he goes, "I've seen the real Optimus Prime. The real Optimus Prime's outside." And I went, "Yeah, no, he's." And he goes, "He didn't transform though." I said, "Yeah, well, he's tired. He's come all the way from America. He needs a sleep." And he goes, "Yeah, that's right. He needs a sleep." Bless him. But he was so excited, he was so jazzed, and his dad was, like you said, out of his element. He had no idea what these things are and where these things are. But his little lad was just super enjoying it, everything about it. And the fact he got to sit inside Optimus Prime, to him, that will always be the real Optimus Prime.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. To when he's our age, you know, in 1,000 years, you know, he will have that memory. That memory will stick in his head for as long as he lives. Bless him.
Yeah. Just to let people know, Sam, your spirit animal is a 40-year-old man. I'm telling you now. It's not a fox. It's not an eagle. It's not a wolf. It's a 40-year-old man going, actually, I think you'll find that's a G1 toy.
Yeah. I think it's one of us going, G1.
I have to admit as well, that's another thing that's really helped as well, is that there's no, like, I can't even remember the last time that I heard a G1 centric, you know, like it has to be this.
Yeah.
Come up in any discussion. Like, I don't even know when it ended. Maybe lockdown?
Yeah,
Maybe because that period was just long enough for enough people to disappear and enough like new blood to come in that it just stopped being an issue. But
weirdly enough, though, there was in 2022 there was a hell of a lot of newbies that year.
Yeah,
a hell of a lot of newbies, and They this one girl I was speaking to. This is the Monday morning when we're ready to go home, and we're waiting for our taxi to go. And she came up to me. She said, "I've been waiting to see you all weekend. You're responsible for me being here." I said,
Oh,
"Well,
wow.
what do you mean?" She goes, "I've been watching all your videos, and you just got me excited." And I thought, "Well, I've got to see this thing." And it was the best decision I ever made. And, oh, thanks for watching. Thank you very much.
Wow.
And that's like, that's if one extra person comes because they've seen my video, that's great. If no one comes because they haven't seen my video, great too. I'm not in it for the views. I'm not in it for the, advertising or anything like that. And if it helps out TFN, great. But I'm not, like you said earlier, we're not affiliated in any way. I'd just like to spread the word around and get as many people who love Transformers in a room with people who love the same stuff they do.
Though, if you do want to make Tony famous, I'm sure he won't disagree with you or protest too much.
No,
Oh, no.
No, I'm not narcissistic in any
He's like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I'm quite humble. I like, share, and subscribe.
By the way, just to say that it was earlier on, and Knowlsy was in full flow, and he was actually saying something really, really good, and I didn't want to interrupt him. But Knowlsy, just know for about 5 minutes on this stream, you were upstaged by your cat in the background.
Yeah.
Now your cat has moved on. Your cat was doing a photo bomb, so clearly taking after you, and it was just peering over the back of your shoulder, yawning, which I thought was great.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Marcel. Yeah, I met him last year. What a lovely kid. He's a lovely, lovely guy. And he, like I said, his first year.
He came to the UK on his own as well. That's so brave.
Yeah, so brave. And he gave me the Dutch version of the Headmasters comic, the G1 comic.
Yeah.
And he went, there you go. I'm like, well, dude, what's this? And he goes, well, I've seen your videos. I just thought you'd enjoy it. And I went, oh, dude, thank you very much.
You've got to now read it out on the air. Don't learn the language, just read it out.
Just read it out, yeah. But no, I mean, it's just something to have, like because I don't have that particular comic anyway. And it was only because, for those who don't know, Headmasters was its own separate comic as well as the mainline book. It had its own Headmaster doing their own thing. And it's the compendium of all, I think it's 4 issues, 4 or 5 issues. And it's vintage as well. And I'm like, that's going straight in the bag and board when I get home. And it's in the comic drawer right now. So, again, thanks, Marcel. Good lad. I'm Jermaine again. Your cat is a mover, John. Or as my friend likes to call cats, she calls them pooses. She's got a poos. A poos. She's got me saying it now. I can't help it. Every time I see a cat, I go poos.
So, guys, not to be poo-poo anything here, but because literally in 12 hours' time, I'm going to be sat with a whole bunch of Warhammer people, including, again, for those who don't realize, in literally 12 hours' time, I'll be sat with Andy Millman, George, Exaggerated Allergy, Adam Nicole. I'm trying to think who else as well. There are going to be a bunch of other people there.
Blood for the blood god.
Yes, so I'm probably going to have that head off.
No worries.
Finished.
Thanks for joining us, Adam.
Is there anything as well? Do you think is there anything else that you want to touch on in terms of like the scramble for people to get a TFNation hotel? Is there anything you want to add? I think we covered it all. Hopefully I covered it all in the chat anyway. So
yeah, just to reiterate what you said earlier, just now's the time to do the research. Now's the time to find out which is the best price for you, where you don't mind a 10-minute walk or a 5-minute walk or whatever. Now's the time. Like you said earlier on, you don't want to do it 3 days before you're due to drive out there. So now's the time. Have a look. And if you can, like I say, now's the time as well to get to know people on Facebook and Instagram and anywhere like that. Set up group messages and stuff. And then, find out who's in the same hotel as you. Like I say, you can share taxis and stuff like that. So now's the time to get on that.
Yeah.
Just don't put undue pressure on yourself. If you're nervous about doing it, the best thing is that in a group like that, going to TF Nation group, because again, I don't want to call him out, but I saw someone do that. And in his first sentence, he went, I'm going to TF Nation this year and I'm really nervous. And it was like, once he says it, it's out there. He's admitted it. He's cool with it. It actually helps people when they do that. So yeah, don't be afraid, and people will understand. And again, like I volunteered at my first event, Auto Assembly 2010, and I was 15 years ago, mid-30s. And the reason I volunteered is because I was absolutely petrified of going. And I thought, as long as I volunteered, well, I can get away with being so old at a Transformers event, but also as well, because I'm wearing a volunteer t-shirt, nobody's going to think I'm scared. And to this day as well, I still suffer when I'm in groups, but when you're wearing the t-shirt, nobody notices. So again, don't worry, everyone understands that the nervousness of going to events for the first time. So if anyone new has found their way onto this chat and has put up with us for Lord knows how long, especially if they put up with Knowlsy, my God. But yeah, just know that you're not alone in the fact that, some of us still find it quite difficult when we go to large events.
Yeah, I mean, but like
Ooh,
what
yes.
Raymond T was saying about, Marcel said he came on his own and he was very nervous about meeting people, and then within, an hour or so, he felt like he was home.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, another good thing about this thing is when you get to TF Nation, you know your job, you know how much money's in your bank, anything like that. You are a Transformers fan in a room with Transformers fans.
Yeah, exactly.
And nobody cares if whatever your persuasions are or anything like that. If you like robots, we like robots. Let's talk robots, or talk video games, or Star Wars, or whatever it is. You will find somebody who will like the same stuff as you within minutes, seconds. Like I say, you probably know a lot of these people. You probably never met them before, but you probably know them through Facebook groups and Instagram and YouTube and stuff like that. You're probably already friends. You just never met before. So.
Can I also two things as well, because first up, Jermaine's made an excellent point as well about trains. So we talk about like hotels and getting the best deal. Something I see all the time though is because sometimes people leave it until too late. They not only pay a fortune for a hotel, but they're literally buying a ticket at the station.
Yeah.
They're buying a ticket that's so ridiculously over expensive, and they're wasting a fortune. And they go, well, I didn't have money until the Saturday morning. And it's like, honestly, that's the sort of situation. I know situations are tough for people. I'm not discounting that for a second. But if you're waiting until the Saturday, then you're probably spending most of your money on just travel. And then you're not going to be able to buy anything at the event. Being able to just have a little bit of flexibility to book in advance means you save money, and so it just makes it a bit easier. So it's a big deal, I think, if people can do that.
All right, then I think we'll leave it there, then, shall we?
Yeah.
Thanks, Adam, for joining us and explaining the hotel situation.
As Knowles, who blows smoke literally in my face. Like, thank you so much, bitch.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. No, honestly, I can't thank you enough for allowing me to do this and allowing me to just help people in the way that I do. And the weirdest thing is that years and years ago, I did a survival guide to auto assembly. And a few people saw that and went, that's pretty good. And then next year I wasn't doing them. And then those people did it. And people still do it to this day. So it's great.
Yeah, that's it.
It's been a great stream. I've really enjoyed it. It's been a good laugh. And I don't see Adam nearly enough. I wish we could meet up more often.
I wish I could just see Knowlsy and not see like a handheld view of Knowlsy's home. But here we are. Here we are.
Cribs, John. We're not on MTV's Cribs.
I do apologise. Literally, my computer's died, hasn't it? So I had to use my phone.
So Adam, where can people find you if they want to check your social media? Because I'm sure you'll be putting these slides up at some point, won't you?
Yeah, I might do. I think I'll be honest. I use some. Obviously, you can tell I use some snaps from TFNation just at the start. And the thing is, I don't want to use any of their stuff without permission. So I'll probably chat in with them. But if people genuinely are interested in seeing the slides, we'll find a way to put them up somewhere. As to social media, honestly, like I'm barely on anything. I help out the Fluff and Hammer with a couple of like bits every so often, do some movie stuff, but there's nothing really like ongoing at the moment. I have an Instagram, but it's full of pictures of rusted metal and weird shadows. So I don't know if that's going to be particularly exciting. I honestly, if I was going to say anything at this point, I would just say to people, make sure you get yourself subscribed to all the TF Nation official channels on whatever media you have, because you're going to find out this information nice and quick when everyone else does.
Well, I'll put the link to the actual website in the description for this as well. So
cool.
So, John, where can people find you on the social medias?
Underneath the trapdoor. Anyway, no, you can find me here on YouTube.
What on earth was in that vape?
Yeah, I know.
For some reason, the trapdoor thing came to mind at that moment in time. I don't know why. But yeah, you can find me on good old YouTube's TFKnowlsy. I'm on Instagram under TFKnowlsy as well. I'm on X. I think it's Knowlsy89, I believe, or 1989, one of the two. Also, there's a dedicated Facebook group on Facebook. Just search TFKnowlsy and you'll find me.
Yeah, just before we go, Sammy said,
yeah,
to Adam.
I just want to say as well, I actually, again, I've had problems joining the chat, so I've not been able to respond personally. Thank you so much, Sammy, for that, though. It really, it's nice. It's just, it's a personal thing for me, but yeah, I do like my rusted metal. The weirdest thing is over the last couple of years, Knowlsy's actually getting, I'm not taking the piss either. He's actually getting pretty good as a photographer in his own right.
Thank you.
Yeah, well.
I don't do it very often. I need to get back to it again.
So I just want to say thank you for everybody who's been watching tonight.
Yes, thank you, chat. You've been lovely. Really nice. Thank you for welcoming me.
Yeah, thank you to everybody that's watched us and commented, and thank you to Adam for joining us. Of course, it's been a fantastic stream, and
I was going to go through individually and go through each of the posts after the thing, but we just got so chatting away we didn't really get a chance to do it. So
my big mouth. Sorry.
Yeah. So anyway, thanks for everybody for watching. Like, share, subscribe, the usual stuff. Check out my socials, be in the description, and I will catch you all, everybody soon, probably tomorrow with a new video. And beware of Adam's ratchet.
That sounded even more worse than my sausage. That sounded worse than my sausage joke.
I was going to say, I'm Knowlsy sausage.
Mate, we've had quite enough of your sausage tonight. Take care.
Yeah, pull that thing over. Right, thanks everybody. I will see you all very soon. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Stop. Why won't you stop?
It will never stop.